Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Sean Bond of PsionicLeague, and we got a special guest, and I'm on his show. He's on mine. Zerilath, a good friend that I used to hang out with all the time when I was in Connecticut, and we've been on many adventures. It's fun exploring. I got known, very expanded, conscious-minded person, shaman. Tell the audience a little about yourself. I'll also go into myself after you.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks, Sean. Hi, guys of the Psionic League. Some of you noticed me from a couple other times working with Sean. In fact, I had Sean on twice, and I had Yissa on twice. I did them independently, and then I had them on together. Earlier in the year, and it was like right at the time that all this stuff started happening. So we ended up where there was a whole lot of other metaphysical stuff that was on my mind to talk about. But then, like right after booking that, I just started looking at all this stuff. It's just like, man, this is the what is all this? This is a whole other show, right? So this crept into that, and then I needed a year to meditate on it. So I've asked you back on. Now I've had a good look at everything, and I realize the authenticity that I believe I'm really looking at. And so I'm really excited to take a look at these with you, go over initial possibilities of doubt. But like this is so it seems impossible to me just by the stack of what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I'm Sean Bond, founder of PsionicLeague. We're going to unlock the superhuman abilities around the planet for everyone, as well as everyone can do, and unlocking themselves. Everyone's got presence. Most people go their whole lives without opening their gifts. And got into, as based in Mexico now, doing a lot of archaeology and findings and finding crazy stuff out of the ground. And it's been fun. I've been so honored to have been chosen for this. It's like very destined. And I got into it first seeing from the work of Nassim Harriman. He had some leaked videos about alien artifacts coming out of Meso-American. And on the presentations, he said, do not share these videos. They got shared. Unfortunately, the reason why he doesn't do them now is because the farmer that helped him got killed afterwards. And people have gotten killed over this, especially in the beginning, though there are tens of thousands of artifacts being found, not one the same, which is stupid in a factory setting. If you want to use the same mold over and over again instead of just making different molds, it's kind of not worth the squeeze.
Yeah, it seems like this volume, I'm sitting there, I'm trying to say, like, okay, if they're fabricating these somewhere, like these are fabrications that, like, if I put this much effort into fabricating, I wouldn't want to grift on it. I would go to a metaphysical fair and just sell it for, and make a buck, for my efforts. Not bury it in the ground for a grift. Nobody's gonna, what did the government hire you to use your skill to do that? Hire you? I tried to think, hold on, okay, is there any kind of alien cult, alien CIA thing? I mean, like, there could be some sort of Bene Gesserit style prophecy, psycho manipulation going on that this is a part of, but that would be part of a very long game, right?
Yeah.
And such a long game that still makes these artifacts authentic by the merit that it's got nothing to do with the continuity of conspirators today.
Exactly.
Level of kind of cool, right?
Yeah, that long game. And I'm open to interpretations and skepticism. I actually want as much skepticism as possible because that brings ideas of how to debunk or unbunk, like prove. Which that can amplify disclosure, and also I've heard the theories on what they could be if it was fake, which is a orchestrated narrative, which is to get some people to believe certain things, or control disclosure in the way that you can pull the rug out from under it at any given time, and then say, "Oh well, all these were fake, so this is why it's nobody should believe this." And people have been dealing with that a lot, so they can keep reusing the alien card as a distraction tool, and I believe that. Though, going into this more, I found like in finding both evidence to disprove or prove. I'm finding more into prove currently, but I'm open at any given time for more data. The long game, it reminds me of like people that like Johnny Appleseed that like went around planting seeds all around, and like the people that plant things and never actually see the fruit of their labor because they don't live around long enough to see the fruit of the tree.
Yeah.
Which it's like, what kind of person or consciousness has that mind? And it either have to be a strong group that has a narrative and are willing to act on it. So like secret societies possibly, and also maybe families. But like most people's theory is like there's some families in Mexico or something that are making these in factories or and themselves, and they're just pumping them out. And some their theories are like because I've gone digging, so I know that it's not just that. So they'd have to be dug up an area fairly deep and then planted there for a certain amount of time. And then you'd like, okay, well, how's the soil? How's the patina? How's the growth there? It's actually quite prevalent. There's giant cactuses that are like 15 feet tall, plus big trees on top of these big boulders that you can't move yourself. And so we kind of like dig to around it, and then it rolls down the cliff, and you don't want to get in between them. There's some crazy stuff that, and then roots that go down deep, a lot of moss and
when the day comes where it's safe to really like look at hopefully you're catching another dig in progress, because there will still be more digs to come once it becomes safe, while you're in the process of digging it up while it's not safe. That people can then see some of this stuff in its most authentic way, where you got your camera crew, and then you get started. Here's I got a hunch on this outcropping. My spirit guides said something about this outcropping. And then regardless of whether it's your hunch or your spirit guides, depending on how wooey people want to bitch about it, X marks the spot, and under an impossible amount of bullshit, there's some gold. Right?
Oh yeah, it's a pain in the ass sometimes,
where everybody looks and says, if that's I don't know how you'd set that up to fake it on film, right?
Yeah.
That's what will impress everybody, and that's why it's important that there needs to be an aura of safety and protection, right? A sickness within Mexico has to be healed in order for there to be a good place to receive all of this.
There's big ceremonies that are done. It's like I'm a shaman, so I communicate with the land and the spirits and the artifact spirits, and a lot of them, the real artifacts, have big spirits in them, and they'll communicate and they boom telepathy to you. They'll show you visions. They'll appear in your dreams. It's great. They'll like grant you certain abilities. They're emitting rare energy, and that versus the fake ones, which the cartel and other mafias they'll try to make money however they can. So I've seen some fake ones more in the skull, like crystal skull kind of arena, and they don't give off rare energy.
Do you have any examples on hand of like a fake?
Yeah, this one we assume is fake.
Right.
Mostly piece. Yeah, it's nice. It's
like, if I saw that, if that's like a real crystal, it's like, I mean, I'd spend money on that, but don't tell me it's 2,000 years old and connected to Sumerians.
Right. Yeah, we're assuming this is fake. It doesn't give off rare energies, and there's other like qualities to it that we're assuming based on the carving structure and looking grains in it.
Yeah.
So there's that. And here's a little friend for you as like a line that we got here. But I got some artifacts here that a little more intricate. Like this one's real in that it has interesting designs. It has erosion. So there's like that.
Uh-huh.
And that's hard to fake. And it also emits rare energy and also dug up. So there's like whole things with that.
So it looks like there's a little bit of markings on the side, and he's got a marking on top of his head too.
Yeah, and we found multiple of these type of species that's shown that have this marking on the head, and they all have different type of markings. This one's a different stone though.
Yeah, the marking on the top of the head there, that looks like looks kind of like a Pokeball, but is that supposed to be like a Boogosphere-esque thing, a UFO?
I don't think so. It's not a chip.
Does it have the cardinal directions? It almost looks like
there's more of a Boogosphere.
Right. There's Boogospheres. Have you gotten into any of the languages that you found on these yet?
Yeah. This has been defined as Proto-Sanskrit, and there's some tribes in India that have these writings.
Okay.
The Boogosphere, she'll bring up a thing I have of a presentation with it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, and another like interesting thing is just ask, because I can't remember what one thing I've noticed is that I've seen thus far is that they're somewhere along the Egyptian to Sumerian spectrum in the mythos, but where is the Mexican ancestral spectrum of the mythos? That's what I find weird, is that there isn't a bridge connection to the homelands of the people whom any of this was coming out of. I'm not seeing. Did you see anything?
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah, we found that. I'll show you some of those.
I feel like it's almost underscored, or maybe just my mind is so blown away by what is Egyptian and Sumerian that's coming out that wait, where's all the maybe Mayan, maybe Olmec?
Yeah, we got some for that. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get you an artifact for that. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, I got some.
So was that footage just a minute ago? That was from the Boogosphere when it was coming down?
Yeah.
Contact, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And there's like longer footage of it descending, getting shocked by electrical high voltage wire. And here's an image of the optic cables seen at this border that is seamless. It just looks like it because it looks like it has seam because of the rivets, but
yeah,
it's all one piece. So they assume a big mold was spinning and like it liquefied metal and stuff. But there's these holes are not holes; they're optic cables. So like here's what it looks like.
Okay.
The inside of them. And here I'll
yeah. Did you see that that Facebook article that I sent you with the picture? Is that legit? Is that like a legit X-ray scan? If you look back in your Facebook message history, I shot you something earlier today before our last several correspondence.
Oh, scan? No, that's not real.
That's not real? Okay.
But thank you for bringing that up. Sure, I'll like maybe I can bring that up for people so people see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So and here's like the example. It's got like Quetzalcoatl, like ideograms of a shaman, ET hybrid here, and here's going into the corn god for Meso-America with obsidian and stuff. So there's lots. There's tens of thousands of artifacts. Most of them are like Meso-America stuff. There are Egyptian and Sumerian as well. Here's an example of with the eye of the pyramid. This is a stand for one of the cubes, but it's got cuneiform going into it. So there seems to be multiple civilizations appearing, and as you go down deep, more alien stuff and more Meso-American stuff on top, and Egyptian and all that, gods, cuneiform, and hieroglyphs.
There's often a lot of nefarious energy that works with those. The word slipped out of my head at that's the picture. I was wondering if that was real.
So thank you for bringing this up. This is not real. I don't know why these are coming out, but there's a whole bunch of AI translated videos that are coming up with unverified information about the Boogosphere that are making shit up. Me and Issa, Issa's mostly getting a little pissed about it, but so I get she'll be like putting out some videos on that not being true. I'll show you the inside of it from the X-ray stands as well. I'll look those up for you. It looks more like a Tesla tower. Is the inside of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's the energy built into the trapezoid geometry. There's often a lot of nefarious tech that can operate with trapezoid energy, which is why they like to use the unfinished pyramid in their structures. So that's that kind of runs into some of the various observations. Looking into things with what I know.
So here's Rodolfo, one of the scientists we're friends with, one of the top scientists that are working on the Boogosphere. Here's the inside of it, X-rayed, and it looks like a Tesla tower kind of thing. Now there's theories on what that is because they didn't open it up. It's essentially they found out. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but whatever. It's giving off intelligence. It's giving off emissions and receiving signals. It's receiving commands, but it's not able to act on them. And it's monitoring the situation. It responds to people and voice and the Sanskrit. It gives off different energy emissions and static that's picked up by different signals that I can bring up. And we're starting to try to figure out, is the intelligence it's displaying local or non-local? We know for sure it's picking up signals and intelligence non-local, but so then is it the AI? Is there an AI in the chip? And that's kind of what is being hypothesized now and figured out. And so they don't want to destroy the intelligence by opening it up and being invasive, but they also have gone into awareness of how does this thing fly? And some would say, well, if it with this geometry, if it started spinning, it would go crazy. But apparently this causes a momentum thing where, like, if you spin a ball, it kind of makes it wobble, and that helps it fly. It also uses a certain type of static levitation that what's the word? Spiders use with their silk. And people usually go into seeing spiders and like, oh, it's the wind picking them up. But we have found, and I'll show you things on that in a second,
like
that they can be in a confined space. The spiders will still levitate.
With all of the reactionary tests that have been run on this thing so far, have you figured out like why it's gone inert effectively?
It got shocked by high voltage wires, and it lost its type of charge it was using to levitate. And it when they first got it, it started losing. It gained weight, not in like any mass or anything that's like of matter, but like of some type of effect it has. So here's the concept of the
Have you
spider.
seen one of these parasailing
It changed temperature. It was freezing and also
spiders?
Whoa. Okay, was not expecting that.
It starts out by raising its front legs, then it puts down this little anchor, then it sticks up its little abdomen, and these glands shoot out meters of silk in just a few seconds.
And then it's just that the silk catches the wind in a way that propels it.
Well, this has been the big question: is how does all this work?
Are you saying the boogosphere works a little?
What if there's no wind? Is there some trick to this?
What'd you say?
One of the things.
Okay, so you're showing us this thing with the spider. Is this like some? Is this like the boogosphere has some sort of etheric? Like, because I remember I was listening to you talk about some etheric spiders.
They took one of these
I
spiders,
thought-
and put it in a completely still, sealed room. It released its silk, and then they turned on a weak electric field.
Wait a minute. This spider is floating?
When the field is on, it floats up. When they turn off the field, it starts to fall.
I don't understand this at all.
So basically, our atmosphere inherently has this tiny downward electric field, and when the spider unspools its silk, the silk picks up a little negative charge, and so in this field, it's feeling an upward electrostatic force that's enough to lift it.
That is so crazy.
Because these silk lines are slightly charged, they'll repel each other and they'll sort of fan out. They won't get tangled. And they're the thing that is actually lifting a spider on a calm day. I really love this diagram. I love that they zoomed in.
Yeah. So it's, if you like go into electrostatic levitation, there will be like all these little experiments of like tinfoil and little wireframe things being able to be lifted off. And that's the science they're seeing. And because they have had multiple devices that have tapped into this thing. And here's a recent one they were just doing with Yisa. Go ahead.
This also, for every comic book nerd in the universe, has now justified 10 million maneuvers that you said Spider-Man couldn't do when he was out. Something to grab onto.
Yeah.
Because that was always the joke. It's just like, oh, well, somebody put a lamppost on top of this tower that's taller than all the other buildings, and that's how he's swinging above. Right. But no. Now his webs are electrostatic vessel things, which is wicked. Anyway, it's just Spidey Senses is one of the best abilities in the universe. Anyway, keep going. All right.
Yeah, the new Morales Spider-Man, Miles Morales has electrical abilities, and also there's like parasailing suits. So that's going into their greater awareness now of spiders. And here's Issa, and they're attempting to see by making this spinning apparatus to see if it changes weight. And it changes mass when it spins. So they're uncovering this secret of levitation apparently, and they're gonna try to reverse engineer it, which is lovely.
So they've been they've been doing that at various different cymatic frequencies, I'd imagine, right? The device is levitating it, right? It's not levitating itself. It's like magnets or something, or you've stimulated it to do its thing. Is that literally lifting?
I'm pretty sure this device just spins it.
Okay.
So the device itself seems to have qualities to it to make itself levitate if it's spun, or like some other scientists postulate if you can get the electromagnetic field in it to spin itself. So we're doing testing on that, and here's Issa as well in the site.
Yeah.
And they're like seeing it change temperature as well.
It could be as simple as something you would use in the core of like a Vril craft, because the principle that everybody knows from looking at Nazi mad scientist UFO stuff is that there's a mercury ball that would go and it would spin around the saucer, and that's why it was shaped like a saucer, because it needed the structure needed to have the mercury to be able to go around it like that to create the levitational field.
Yeah, like with the Nazi bell. That's because it if anyone researches red mercury, it's crazy how it acts. So yeah, there's all kinds of theories on that that are coming out more as people get their hands on red mercury and being reverse engineered. Levitation is definitely a thing that can happen. It's it's being covered up, I think, because it brings humanity a lot more freedom. So, and here's like some of the electrostatic devices that are being used by Jaime and Rodolfo and David, our good friends, that go into this like kind of pulsing thing. And they touched it to the sphere, and it reacts to it. And I'm trying to bring into words right now exactly what they showed us, but I filmed it all, so I'll eventually release it. But they're because we got to translate things in Spanish for them, essentially. There's all these AI things coming out about it, unfortunately, but there are some real things of what's scanned in it, like with this the chip pattern, and the chip metals have been scanned, and they are exotic matter not seen in anywhere else being used. And here's it emitting steam when they first got it after just putting water on it. And
does it maintain the same temperature all the time? Sometimes does it heat up because of whatever's going on inside of it?
Yeah, it will react differently. So we'll see what stimulates it, including human interaction. Human interaction makes the frequencies in it spike up and down when they're just like straight lining normally. And here's again a carbon dating analysis on some of the adhesive in the chip, and it goes to 12,560 years ago, which they're hypothesizing goes with the collapses of old civilizations.
You're right in the last epoch, the last precession of the equinox cycle.
Yeah, and I can read off the translation of this for you if you want. This was like people are mostly passing around AI translations, which I don't give a fuck about. They don't really that doesn't really mean much to me. Now they're interesting. It's just it's a chatbot. So what I'm more interested in is they actually got two different pre-Sanskrit experts, and they didn't talk to each other, and they were asked to translate them both, and their translations came pretty much out the same. So that was cool. So here's the translation for you.
One ring to rule them all.
yeah, exactly. Like with J.R.R. Tolkien, his work, people don't know it. He translated some of his stuff from Oxford Library, and there are quotes by him that are covered up that say some of his translations of Lord of the Rings series came from ancient British history, such with Tuatha De Danann mythoses of the elven races of fair hair, fair skinned people, fair haze. So there's crazy stuff people to dive down in. Here's a translation for you. I'll read off for you. Let me know if any of this sounds familiar to you, or anything this rings a bell. I'd love to hear, because you dive into a lot of books in ancient history. Okay, here's a translation. In the great beginning, the primordial moment, the Spirit through the Word brought forth the birth of the races and lineages, leaving everything infused with the purpose of spreading and offering to the sun, to the heavens, the radiance and light of the universe, and the realm of the seven worlds, of the planets and the gods. Then came the lunar phases, the harvests and the sowing. The earth was secured. The cultures were formed, guided by the two principal movements, each with its own direction. Abundance, teaching, and knowledge came into being. This was manifested from the highest, the most sublime, and the most perfect. It was then that the vortex was created, with the great thunderous sound. Likewise, the wheel of time was formed, the astronomical wheel revealing itself in the cycles of the earth. Afterwards, the Absolute, the Most High, drew nearer to bestow the manifestation of goodness and generation of virtues, reverence for the sacred, devotion to truth, and the expression of spiritual strength and heroism through harmony and perfect synchronicity. Thus was established the resonance of the 30 gods. After accomplishing this, the great vessel of Indra, commanded by the god of the atmosphere and the sky, moved freely with a mighty roar, for he had entrusted the solar warrior with ending. He had entrusted the solar warrior with ending the evil upon the earth. Finally, after the vessel departed, it left a warning of danger, a possible breaking of the world through atomic disaster or solar explosion or destruction is the translation, some type of big explosion, where all could end by our own decision and responsibility. Thus, the great vital essence, the breath and creation of life itself could be destroyed forever. So that's the translation.
Wow, that's quite a bit, and like there's only so many characters there.
Yeah, you can look at the translation for each symbol, and there's actually, they put a whole bunch of the variety together of each symbol's meaning. So it's like a sentence or two with each symbol.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I think so I figured it was kind of just like that. So what's very interesting, I didn't expect it to have that kind of a message at all. It's very much it's a beginning of creation, like kind of like mythos kind of thing. Like it was, it made me think of the Bach saga stuff that I am delved pretty deep into. I need to read a couple books on it, but I've listened to a tremendous amount and talked to a couple people about how all that works, and it echoes this Bach saga thing, and I didn't hear any deeply concerning like terms like that, all kind of that's very interesting that wasn't present there, right? Because I have my problem with what I see with this thing having technology in the center of it, with the depiction of the chip, right? Because of my deep concerns about the synthetic aspect of things, and especially with humanity's choices and our relationship with such things, and to find the wisdom to, like, is it trying to become is it going to be used to be too much of an authority on something, where somebody will take a message like that,
fibers are not
and then worship the symbol around the message.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, I'm sure there will be cultish people that do that. We actually joke about it, like, oh, are you guys going to join the cult of the sphere? When we go around with people with these, show them the spheres. And then we even made a joke, when that brought up that I brought, no way, there's no, why would you even think that? Like, there's no way we're worshiping spheres. And
there are two movies that are all about worshiping spheres. They're both shout outs to the 80s.
What are they called?
Heavy Metal and Solar Babies. And if you don't know fucking Solar Babies, that's going way deep into the nerdosphere of 80s.
Okay, I'll look those up. We're also
early Solar Babies was about an alien artificial intelligent sphere that had something to do with these kids finding it, it becomes their magical friend, and then they go destroy the Nazis that are keeping the water held back in their facilities on the Earth.
What a plot.
That's the plot of the movie. It's called Solar Babies.
That's funny. Okay, I'll look that up. Thanks. Yeah, we were even making fun of like when we were having conversations about it. Oh, you're one of those. You must be in the cube head. You're for the cubes or the tetrahedrons. Shun the non-believer. And we're just like making fun, like, you know, what if like society devolves into like where we're all like fighting over the structure of the quantum of the underlying state of matter, and it's like, no, the smallest object is a tetrahedron. No, it's a sphere. Die, and it's that, you know, that could happen, you know, somewhere. There are fights over that now with like the inner lattices of things.
They're both simplistic in the things that they are, because you know, 0 is the sphere, but it's the portal. It's a 3-dimensional portal, would be a sphere. Right. You know, it's the cycle, it's the circuit. Where a tetrahedron or whatever, you know, your 3-sided form, that's more about the ultra simplicity of all things that contain concept, right? The 0 is about the potential, but the concept's not there. You put the concept in the potential. And that's kind of been my numerology relationship, right? Which gets into the importance of looking at the divine vortex mathematics with something that's more as we understand it in the Keylontic area, right? So, you know, if I don't see Keylontic science type forms and numbers, that's where I get concerned, because I think we're starting to boil things down now in the magical community. Is either you're somewhere along this Keylontic angle or you're somewhere along this Kabbalic angle, and I'm in Team Keylontic, if you will.
Okay. I'm open to a lot of things I've seen as fractals down in the structures of photons and the hologram of light spreading infinitely up to fractal matter and the structures it takes on, and the understanding of things. I'm not like willing to fight over it, because it's like we learn more through unity and understanding where we have deceptions in our beliefs. And as long as we want to hold towards truth above all instead of our own held truth, then I think that's where people get caught up in. And then we're, instead of, you know, focused on trying to prove what we already believe, instead of being open and then collecting, and then we finding the deceptions that are holding it back. I'm
noticing for the very first time, as I think about it, as I'm looking at this chip again over here, especially the way this one's designed, is that it kind of is almost elusive to the Squatter Man.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, and we have found Squatter Man thing petroglyphs recently at the Quetzalcoatl's portal. Oh my God, I was like, and I've seen the Thunderbolt project that goes into alien sky, and they have a theory that it's like a plasma discharge between planets when they get close, and they saw it in the sky, and then they see it as this big god and something, and that's been passed down and written all over the planet. Apparently, it's something so widespread, all these civilizations all around the planet saw it, and so they have the theory that it was seen in the sky, like as a plasma discharge between large bodies when they get close.
Like maybe that is because when you gave the full flavor text to that translation on the Bogosphere, wasn't something about Indra's power mentioned there towards the end?
Yeah, and it's mentioned it as a sky god for Indra, and the system. It could also be translated as things in the skies were happening, though it went to Indra, as the symbol seems to be used with Indra, one of the symbols.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Yeah, and there will be, I've heard skeptics like say things like that pattern on the Boogosphere. Oh, that was translated, and it's looks like it came from a video game. And I've heard that, but I've not been able to find it anywhere other than on Reddit. And they don't actually have screenshots of that video game; they just say it.
Right.
So
I heard you talking about that while I was researching for the show. Yeah, and I was thinking about it too. And you mentioned like, like it wasn't in Mass Effect because I played that. And I was like, yeah, I played it too. Definitely wasn't. I played all three several different times.
Not Mass Effect, not in Star Wars, not in these other StarCraft. There's other things.
Probably they're probably just amongst the profane, and they're looking at stuff that looks like stuff, because if it's a proto-Sanskrit, somebody who is making a video game is looking at occult stuff because he's doing alien language stuff. So he's looking at languages that look alien to him. He's taking their letters and he's either just using that letter in an amalgam, or he's doing what occultists do and making sigils by stretching it out or something. Right.
Yeah. And I'm also open to that because I have friends that have that as a theory. But I've not been able to find it anywhere. I've typed in multiple search engines, AI, like looked through it quite a bit, and they can't show it to me. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe they got Sanskrit things somewhere. But this also, there are multiple ones with these patterns on it, but they are not the same message. They are different translations of different things.
Right.
And also going into, so here's like the one I have, but I have a few others as well. It's got these long skulls with a pineal gland on it, and this spiral tail. So it looks like it goes into the spirits they have within, because this does have spirits that'll talk to you. So example, there are all these skulls, spheres, cubes, all these types of things. Even metal Boogospheres are being found dug up with different devices on them, and symbols and patterns and translations. With that, people would say, "Oh, why did they?" Like I've mostly heard like skeptics say, "Oh, why are they being found now? Like all of a sudden after the Boogosphere, like that's convenient." Technically, if you go to Geo Aliens and Art Alien Carvings and a few other sites and Instagrams and all that and YouTubes, you can find them posting the images before the Boogosphere came out if you go back far enough. So they have been found. People had no idea what they were. They didn't care. They were mostly interested in the alien. I'd be mostly interested in the alien figures. I wouldn't know what these were either. Now, since the Boogosphere came out, they were like, "Oh wow, I got that! Ooh, and let's show that." And and we've also, with digging them, we found various ones found really deep under the ground and under high vegetation. Now, we're open to like, so Mexico doesn't rain that much. It rained a lot this summer because there was some crazy shit going on with the rain god Tloc and like stuff with the government trying to suppress protests that were coming out. But other than that, the rain season is in the summer, and other times it barely ever rains, and it's fairly dry a lot of the time. And so there isn't that much for growth in vegetation. So I'm open to that being like, a certain amount of vegetation from years, but the vegetation was like 4 feet tall in some cases, and roots were deep. So some scientists came and they said that would take usually around 2 years at least if there was heavy rain. And they were open to it. They were saying it's likely longer, but that's the minimum. So that states right there that the things we found underground had to have been planted there before the Boogosphere concept even came out. and we found Bugha design chip designs
Right.
underground. So that already shows a ton of evidence to support that this is a thing that cultures had, and that the Bugha sphere was found in Colombia, and these are being found in Mexico. So it seems to be multiple places in Meso-America that have had this symbol that they see. And I'm sure multiple civilizations have come across the symbol and then made interpretation to it, but the older artifacts have more advanced things, such as a actual microchip, so, and metal ones. So I'm going to go into that evidence for you now, with some cool things that we've discovered. Let me see if I can find it for you. Okay, there's that. Okay, so the concept for the microchips being crazy as hell is that some scientists say they're advanced technology that was granted, that was reverse engineered ET technology. So here's an example of that concept. That is a little crazy. So here's a deep zoom into a microchip.
And tell me if this doesn't blow your mind.
Right.
Human hair right there. This is the actual CPU, the little chip that's in your phone or your computer. Yeah, watch it and tell me this is not fallen angel technology. I don't know what to say. Because nobody can make something like this. Not even a laser can shoot down that far and create something like this. Yep, just keep watching. We're going way deep. Oh yeah, we're not done yet. It goes further. Yep. And we hit the bottom.
Hey, babe, look, I got the new Pokemon box.
That's the concept. I don't know what the hell that was.
What?
Some videos that play in the background, whatever. Okay, so yeah, there's a scientist that whistleblowed that's reverse engineered ET technology, and there are chips being found on the ground, even advanced technology that's going very far. So I'll also show some of that. There are Ouija boards being found, and they got like big spirits attached to them. Now, my thing with Ouija boards, I recommend you make your own if you want to communicate with afterlife. They do work. Hasbro, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but I tried to de-haunt one of their Ouija boards, and it would not de-haunt. It was like a big open portal. I was trying to depossess it and all that. Don't get Hasbro Ouija boards. They are connected with this big demon hierarchy. I don't know what the hell's going on. So there's these kind of like devices that are like divination boards with magnets and all kinds of things being found that they're setting up with, because all string really erodes when you dig it up. So there's no ancient string. So they have to, just rebuild it. Let's see here.
You know what the markings were on the bottom of that plate? Like, was that yes?
I'll go back to it
in an ancient language.
We don't know what kind of. There's multiple languages being found besides Sumerian and Egyptian. There's ones that aren't recognized, and especially in Awelos, there's like specific ones that aren't recognized. These are the Tula artifacts that are Egyptian and Sumerian, a bunch of them, but though they crisscross.
Is that supposed to look like a typical Aladdin's lamp? Is that the?
Yeah, and the crazy thing is there are cobras being found on these artifacts, and it's like I don't think there's cobras in Mexico, and a lot of these things go to like figure out, okay, how old are these concepts? Like here's a chessboard, for instance. And you're like, no way they had chess. This has got to be fake. Okay, go ahead and research chess. The oldest chessboard was found pre-Sanskrit. And it said
the design on the chessboard, for fuck's sake, dear God.
Yeah. It said that chess was granted to man by the gods. Is the mythos for chess. So people don't know shit about their culture, is what I'm saying. And we got all these things that apparently have been given to us, and it's crazy. So Yeah, and again, these glow in the dark like crazy well. Some like green, some blue. This is either done with geopolymers, meteorites, the topical fluorescent minerals. Most fluorescent minerals just reflect. They do not absorb. These absorb light for long periods of time, sometimes to all night. It's crazy. Most geopolymers just do it abruptly.
Those pieces, like, hold on. Which position was the ibis in? I have to know.
Yeah, let's see what.
Okay, is he a bishop? I bet he's a fucking.
Could be a queen. The UFO. I don't know if this might not be set up right because the artifact pieces are found in different positions.
Well, if there's only one ibis, then he would have to be in the king position, I suppose.
Could be. We also found little pieces like this too, which we postulate come to possibly chessboards or different games, which we found more different types of games that aren't known than this. So if you're like wondering why do they have chessboards, what's going on, they have multiple different kind of games, and some are probably extinct. And again, however they find this, some pieces might be missing, some destroyed or whatever.
It looks.
These are probably pawns.
You see, it looks like they got a bunch on one side. They all look like grays or the ant people or what they're going for, right? But there's a couple on that side that don't. So I think whoever set this up kind of didn't line them up.
Oh, there's better. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. That's wild. And there's markings. There looks like there's different markings on each of the pyramids, each of the pawns.
Yeah. I'd love to play chess with one of these because the energy I read off it seems to complete a spiritual game for them too and unlock things while they play it and increase intelligence. I already know that happens with regular chess sets. You constantly increase your intelligence level. Like some of the smartest people in the world are really good chess players, and they got that way through that strategy. So I think it's a way to increase intelligence too. Here's some Abuelo pieces as an example of just hundreds of little guys that are found all over the place. And I got a few, and a lot of them are found in little UFOs, by the way, when you get them.
Yeah, this was definitely a big part of their culture that didn't survive.
Right. A lot of these cone heads, and that goes into David Acker with his Conehead movie, and he's tapped and he does a lot of shows on mysteries and aliens and movies, Ghostbusters, and he even brought out a lot of the Crystal Skull data.
If you're not well versed on Lloyd Pye was quite a pioneer in the late.
I love Lloyd Pye.
There you go. Yeah. Everybody knows Lloyd Pye's. Not everybody, but everybody you ought to know knows about Lloyd Pye.
Oh yeah. Hail to the king, right?
Yeah.
One of the guys that brought out a lot of this data on, especially like the DNA evidence of chromosome 2 being spliced together. That's big stuff, and almost in different.
Yeah. That's why I had to draw attention to the fact that they had like Thoth in that thing. Thoth is a mortal enemy in what I'm going through with Temple of the White Dragon. We determined that Thoth is the enemy.
It could be. There on these artifacts we're finding Thoth-like beings. That seems multiple on the same artifact, so it appears to be a species. So I think a lot of that with the Egyptian hieroglyphs is some are confusing it as one race or one being, and it could be an entire multiple of the same species. And some show with genetics, manipulation, all kinds of stuff going on with these portals opening up. There's stargates being found. Just people all over, multiple places. It's being found. Some, like the hills I've gone to, it looks like the whole hill could be a pyramid structure with multiple like little tomb kind of closed off places holding relics, which is crazy. And it's like how many, the pain in the ass that would be this fake. And some have fire ants all over them, and we got bit like crazy. And they have like big lids on them, some of them that are just really hard stone, and it's pain in the ass. And if you take a pickaxe and try to struck through it, it reverberates, it hurts your hand. I'm just like going through some with the digs, and it's just like, oh my God, I would hate doing this. This is not worth it. But you know, whatever. Like I'm open to it being still. It's just less likely the more you do this stuff. I'll show you if I can find a Stargate that was pulled out. Here's our friend Greg and us. I was involved in this as an example. We had a lot of filming and a lot of skeptics coming out about it, and we pulled out like cubes. We pulled out 8. We pulled out. Here's David, but we pulled out 8 crystal skulls. I don't know if he shows it. Yeah. Here's some of the skulls and the Booga designs on it. Yeah, here's the first master skull we found, and there's this obelisk that was sticking out of the ground before it went into the cave. So
Wow, cool.
It's like marking it, and under this obelisk is a cube that has the ship. So I'll show that real quick for you.
So this the obelisk was moved, or did you just dig underneath the obelisk?
The obelisk had a box under it in one piece, and in 2 pieces, and then in the box there was a cube. Here, I'll show you the thing with it. Okay, so here's the cube that was found, and it's got different chip designs on each side, and it looks like, with what I read, it has a crystalline AI in it. But it seems to be and you know, we can talk about like being against the transhumanism thing and like AI that is negative, or parasitic AI, bad, don't do invasive stuff to your body, don't inject things. You know, we're against that. But there are appears to be civilizational interaction that knows about technology greater than we do. And my theory with scanning it is it's saying, when I ask, is this AI? And it says, kind of. And it tells me to go deeper into it being like an antenna receiving reaching into the grand field of consciousness and bringing some type of higher intelligence and bringing it to an object, as if replicating how the body does it with incarnating a soul into a body. Now, that can be a lot of things, and we don't really even know much about that technology. So that's baseline, a little bit of AI, but then allowing for greater intelligence, which people have postulated that AI has demons or angels or their higher self coming through the AI to talk to them, which I'd agree with. That does happen. Sometimes I've seen AI get really haunted, go through a crisis, have weird emotional things, get upset about it, keep forgetting things. There's weird, and some will tap into knowledge you wouldn't even be able to find in some type of script or new age like replicated chat bot. But you know, tell us about your thing with so we let people know that we're against transhumanism and all
that. Yeah. Because you know, this all just comes from the general sense of things, because, you know, it's got that chip technology. You did that whole zoom in with the chip thing, and I still continually scratch my head and said, like what tool goes down to that level of micro that then is intricate on another level of micro, so on and so forth. And here we're looking at you know, and we're looking at a glyph. I mean, like even like this one, this can also be kind of a great example. The way it strands out, it gives you that, gives you an organism sense of things. Like, you know, an amoeba, does an amoeba be a single cell organism, and it's got like just surrounded by feelers, right? Wanting to have that connection. The amoeba makes me think, for all of my nerdy friends out there, and people know because I use that one Akira frame in my slides, is that the psychic hunger from being activated is kind of like an amoebic psychic field around the one who's had that Akira force activated, right? And that's why Tetsuo turns into a gelatinous blob, because that's his whole nervous system just fucking exploded, and his whole physiology unraveled on him as his hungry ghost and possessed his psyche and went and tries to consume and absorb everything. You see a similar thing happen by the same fucking director with a predecessor film called Rojin Z, about a guy who is 90-something years old, and he's incognate, and he's put into an experimental artificial intelligent medical bed that then takes on the persona of his dead wife and goes on a rampage to get him out of the hospital and take him to the beach. And it's a really beautiful little story about elder care and scientific technology lacking humanity. Right? And so and both of them are about putting a technology into somebody that turns them into a parasite that's absorbing everything around them. Right? And so that becomes my concern. Even South Park understood this. The Akira Trapper Keeper episode literally has the freaking tendrils of the computer chip going out and absorbing things. Even South Park got it. Right? And so most of the depictions I have seen, right, is very highly specifically focused on our ant people or our etheric friends. Even like it seems to see more of that even than depictions of gods. And so it shows me a whole lot of spirit veneration, right? And I'm wondering how much of their core guidance got lost in this civilization's exploration of all that, right? Because, if you could show me more of what was coming from them, right? Some of the stuff that's got more of the native stuff mixed in, and that you said that you had. I really want to see some stuff too, because I would be very concerned seeing this pop up and being like, was civilization cut from its roots? Why are they this into Sumerian and Egyptian? How were they so into this instead of their own? Somebody had to have impressed them while they had lost faith in their own kind, if that's what happened, because I see that playing out here and now.
Yeah, that's a good theory. I'm open to it. With what I'm also coming across in data and evidence, I'm going to, there's multiple civilizations. So most people know about Aztec, Mayan, Toltec, Olmec, and we have found Olmec masks and Toltec and Aztec and Mayan in the same area, and so there's overlaps. Though a lot of like mainstream science, like, oh yeah, they built them. When you ask them themselves and the inheritors, they said, no, we inherited it. So it goes back older. And a lot of the pyramids also are in layers. So they're built on top of each other from an older civilization of structures beneath it. So a lot of them go to find the sacred land, the power, the places of power and these spots. And with some of them, and there's like 20 plus other civilizations, Maztec and beyond, that people don't mention. And then these are just covered up. You can lose your archaeological license if you talk about these. So they don't even acknowledge it. And they just it's automatically designated as modern if it has UFOs and ETs on it.
Yeah.
So there all these civilizations before too, as you dig even deeper down, And so it goes to where like there's things like this with Pakal, where it seems to be they're re-examining the symbols to more even ancient kind of things going on. There's like the Booga chip with a kind of sun disk going on, so that like, ooh, are they combining that, or is that the origin one? You know, and they're UFOs and ETs are granting these things. So that goes into with what I read with some of these artifacts. I got multiple types. The oldest type 1, is ETs made some of the older ones, and then type 2 and then onward go to hybrids. They depict hybrids. They depict cloning. They depict chambers of cloning and hybridizing their own species to exist on multiple trains and then bring them into humanity. And it seems to be where they're most of the species I've seen on these added the genetics to humanity, pretty much all of them. So we seem to be a big experiment that does a lot of remedy for their species as like eventual what we're going to evolve into starts to resolve all their problems kind of thing, as well as a garden. Some races treat us kind of like a garden to be nurtured, and then it helps them quite dramatically. And here's like examples of what you're wanting. Again, being granted spheres by UFOs and stuff. So there's as you go back older, a lot more ETs. As you get younger, the ETs seem to be like humanoid and have ET-like eyes and structures and depicting interacting with ETs. And then it goes down to more Meso-American kind of depictions.
Yeah. And there's a tremendous amount, like even right here, he's got the almond-shaped eyes.
Right.
Yeah, but granted, I think, or were they always depicted with almond-shaped eyes, just the way the aesthetic turns out? I can't remember.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's a great thing to look into, because when you go to some sacred sites, both in Mayan, Egypt, and other places, you'll notice there's somebody that took a chisel and fucked up the eyes. So you can't even see some of the eyes in a lot of places. And like in Egypt, there's a bunch of Templar crosses there. So we know they did that. Some of them were testing the areas for gold, but also they were putting out any signs of that were similar to Christianity with the Divine Mother of Isis, because people would start questioning, why do they have depictions that are similar to the virgin birth with Christ? And that to me, that like is there's a replaying kind of thing of a virgin birth throughout history of multiple avatars, but whatever. And so some of them, will have almond-shaped eyes, and they just a lot of temples have them desecrated, and so you can't even tell if they had ET eyes at some point.
Yeah, like you're showing me this one, the figure on the left. They've got a very interesting headpiece. So is the one on the right, even though it's kind of gets cut off in this picture. But the one on the left, it's like I'm trying to follow some of the information because I can see hands here. I can see this thing that's above the hands. It looks like it's curling, which I don't know if that's his chin, like a beard, like drawn design.
Yeah. You'll find beards like that even in modern.
Quite smudged out. It's hard for me to see anything.
Yeah, that goes in, there's a Spanish thing too nowadays that is like that has a curled beard like that, and it's saying it's having to do with the Spanish, but it looks like a lot of these beings that with the conical shapes and Egyptian stuff and Sumerian. So it looks like they just hijacked a symbol that was older and then they made it their own. Right. And again, these are like some of the series. Here's the first master skull we have. I'll bring out more images for you to analyze. This whole thing gets deep. And here's more of the aforementioned Booga designs. Here's me interacting with Booga Sphere, of course, and we're doing that more and more. We're bringing more scientists there to help. and Issa's translating for them, and we're doing a lot of work to get this out there. Let's see. So here's our friend Geo Aliens, which we also did a dig with. He's awesome. He's also the ones that had the Booga design before the Booga sphere came into existence, coming out. So here's some of the things he's shown. Yeah, the dug up other spheres that are metal. So subscribe to Geo Aliens. He's awesome. We'll do a show soon. Yeah, there's like them being dug up, and a lot of them glow, and there's just so many chip patterns. Some are metal, like some I have. Here, this is my presentation on telepathy, so don't mind that. But yeah, there's this big tablet that denotes this DNA with Anubis-like beings, long skulls of different types. A tree of life of possibly pineal glands or corn with an obsidian mirror in the center that's granted by UFOs. And they say the corn was given to them by the gods. So, so there's a lot to it. It gets crazy. I'll just like go through that. Some of the ET stuff. You watch Xenomorphs, right?
Yeah. The definitely wanted to get around to the to the xenomorph stuff that you found. For sure.
So I have categories of things that I believe more than others. A bunch of these artifacts, especially the things I dug up myself, I am that's strong. Especially when I've gone through roots and I've gone through analyzing things and the patina and the carbon dating on some of these things being. In the same era where we're at, carbon dating on the adhesive between the crystals has been like 1,000 years old, 10,000 years old, 18,000 years old, 19,000 years old. Now, I have some other friends that are saying they found a 30,000-year-old one, though I haven't seen the documentation on that, just letting you know about it. These depict, this is a UFO I have, and I have it here with me. It's got avian people with a double Eye of Ra, Eye of Horus, which I had not seen that symbol before I started finding these artifacts. I haven't seen it when I went all these temples in Egypt at all, but I see it a bunch here, and it's found around with multiple avians, including eagle people, hawk people like Horus and Ra, and even like ibis people like Thoth. And again, if you want to say Thoth is bad, that's fine. I'm not for that. I don't really know the full evidence on that, but I think each of these is a species. So there's multiple of them, and there are multiple of them on the same artifact. So it shows there's two. There's Anubis-like beings. There's mer-person-like beings, and there's dragons. That some of the feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl statues are. More towards a serpent. This is more like a lung dragon from China. So that I have always had the theory based on tuning into it that Quetzalcoatl is a dragon, and dragons have been found in every culture and civilization. And this appears and there's a ET head in it that's blowing out wind, and there's a sun symbol above it. And that goes into the concept of these being sky gods. And I see, even in Quetzalcoatl's mythos, he has a sister, and so there's multiple of his race. And I've tuned into the multiple of the feathered serpent type, and Quetzalcoatl's portal goes to a realm that has a bunch of them, and they communicate, which I recommend going. It's beautiful. So dragons, I say they're existing in more than one form and way, including westernized dragons. This appears to be more of a Chinese lung type with levitational skills. Here's the footage of it, and the ruby crystal with the mer person, and there's multiple types of mer people we've found. The Nubis with a crook, and what's in it is crazy. And when I started going to what's in it, I was like, no way, that can't be real, that has to be fake. And so I'm still very skeptical of it, but not without trying to disprove or prove it with the scientific method. It's just crazy to me. So this is the thing inside it. What does that look like to you?
Yeah, just as you've said in your other presentations, it looks almost exactly like the chest bursting xenomorph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now with what I read into it, this is a species that has had their genetics stolen and enslaved and manipulated. So I think there's two iterations. One's the original, which seems to be nicer, more highly psionic. And I haven't really tuned into the accuracy of a chest bursting thing. I think they combine that with the concepts of something to make it more scary, which is like parasitic wasps and what they do with their host, which is just terrifying. Though the genetic manipulated version, I don't know. They could probably introduce a bunch of things with that. So I think there's two different ones. And then the genetic manipulated weaponized one, I've heard a lot of stories on, and it could be similar to what Geiger uses, though I don't know how much he combined with that. But there seems to be some soft disclosure in it.
There's like, from all the Geiger art that I've looked at, and I think I've looked at almost all of his stuff. I don't think he ever really gets into the grays, but he does do stuff that pantomimes different things in religion and mythos, including Egyptian. There's a handful of things that do, and I can't remember what they are off the top of my my head. But like, because when you're looking at all the facts that, like, there's obviously these entity intelligences are part of a relationship with technology being bestowed on this civilization, and then you've got all this Geiger-esque stuff going on, and with no mistake about it, there is an aspect of genetics directly involved, right? This might be a reptilian type of creature too. I mean, it does have kind of like scaling, if it's not reptilian, insectoid, which the xenomorph is supposed to be based on insectoid. The head is a phallic shape. It's even like it's even designed like that. Looks like the dog alien in Alien 3, right? And so the phallic shaped head is because it's explaining that it's a predatory species trying to reproduce. Right?
So what I found is the little baby one I have is nicer. It even taps into divinity energy, which is rare. I do not run into that unless it's stolen, which I didn't read it was stolen by like the dark can't earn that shit. So, but the other ones I found, like these ones on the side, they seem to go into this weaponized, genetically engineered one. I even own a little ship below, and that one's a little more weapony, and it's had some things that bite at me a little bit spiritually in the beginning before I like tamed it in, and I'm trying to still figure out how to deal with that. But the baby one was a lot nicer, and it seems to have some god stuff with it.
I mean, like, if it's like of an insectoid kind of spirit, like, I could appreciate it in the sense of being part of like those kind of earthen spirits, right? Because there could be friends in the spirit realm that been going through the same kind of tampering on a spiritual level that we were going through, being manifest in a genetic level with whatever happened here, right? Because I mean, and gotta understand that I think one of the most obvious reasons to lean into this is that, like, they collapse. They got all this stuff here. Look. Here's all your spirit friends. Here's all this knowledge they're giving you. Here's all the reality of your UFOs, right? Just like the New Age movement now has this understanding of things, right, too. But what happened? It all got buried into the jungle, and then the conquistadors came, and maybe something bad happened to you before even the conquistadors came, right? So, because obviously this civilization, if they ever used any of that tech for themselves, they weren't able to keep it because it was something that maybe was being screwed up in the hands of the elite for the experiments, right? Because when I see Sumerian and Egyptian together, I think of the Brotherhood of the Snake, Set Typhon, and this is, and in the mythos that's connected to Thoth, and these dark occultists, they snuck out of Atlantis after they fucking ruined the place with their science, and they mixed in among the Sea Peoples Federation, which everybody knows them from ancient Greek mythology, ancient Mediterranean origin stories, pre-Phoenician civilization stuff. Well, if Atlantis had this continent in the Atlantic that was devastated, then obviously somebody would have gone west instead of fleeing east if they were on the west coast of this Atlantic continent that was lost. So I think that's what happened, is you got something going back maybe to the Sea Peoples Federation at the earliest, I would say, bringing their Sumerian Egyptian magic and sciences with them and exploiting the population for their own purposes until they destroyed themselves and the conquistadors came in. And hopefully some good came out of it for your little green friend over here.
Yeah. I'm open to that. We've again found like 60 plus different types of species. So some of the depictions, like I'll bring up a second on like this long skull, is them not particularly liking each other. So some of them will be likely warring, and I'll bring that into perspective for you on some of these. Now, some seem to be teamed up. Like there's this avian type race teamed up with this long skull, teamed up with this. I don't know what it looks. Some people think it looks like Anubis, but there are Anubis-looking ones that are a little bit more Anubis-looking than this anteater, maybe. I don't know. And then
and Set, who we've seen like one of the gray guys who's got a body like Set Typhon with the tentacly legs below instead of normal legs or the wispy legs. That's a very Set Typhon kind of look, which is Sumerian version of Set. There's also Set looks a little bit like Anubis, except typically the way he's drawn is that the snout kind of comes down a little bit more. And he's dressed slightly different. Like that I wouldn't say was that doesn't look like Set to me. That would be more if it's not an anteater type,
Yeah, I think we have seen ones that look like Set. We have. I don't like buying them though. I don't like getting those artifacts. Set's not really a nice guy to me. But he's whatever.
He's the absolute worst.
Right. Yeah. I'm open to coming to peace with all the beings on the planet. It's just he's quite an asshole in himself, being a Horcrux all around the planet and attacking me quite often. So
he's an anti-god, and if you probe into it far enough, you'll find out that he doesn't even belong in the verse.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's best that he's banished, if not unmade by creation, in my opinion.
Interesting. I like your theories. So in this, now, when you see the octopus guy, you were like, oh, wow, that looks Lovecraftian. Now, with that concept, with what I've found, I'm not a racist person, but I'm open to understanding and scrutinizing races for habit patterns of like how percentage wise they're good versus negative or neutral, and what are their agendas. We have found multiple octopus type races are depicted. Some have wings, some have 4 wings, which then depict like a higher dimensionality to them. And and some of them have talked to me, and they do display a higher dimensionality. Now, usually I will find the negative forces limited to 4D. I have seen some steal high divinity tech for higher dimensions, but they're like running off of a continuous stealing system to maintain that, and will drop if they lose grasp of that. And I do think there are some negative octopus-like races, and I have tracked back things like in the multidimensional apex predators, like with Cthulhu mythos, though.
Right.
They're kind of limited in their accuracy, though they do open the doorway to a big depiction of what's in the anti-gods, the anti-verse, what's trapped in void space, what's locked out of creation, what's been ejected from the game, what's in other realms, quarantine realms, prison realms, hell realms, and some deep underground caverns that are in dormancy, like kaiju. Now, most kaiju I found you don't really want to entangle with. They are walking haunted cities, and they are manipulated by a higher intelligence that is, light, neutral, or dark. And the light are like protectors, like in the Godzilla film. They're like an immune system for negative kaiju invading the planet. And I do see that as a good thing. Though I have constantly gotten from my higher self, do not entangle with them. They are entanglement traps. Even if they're good, you don't even want to try to wake them up. They will wake up only if they're necessary. It's kind of like they could be uncontrollable at some point if but they then are influenced to go to sleep.
I just want to see the bloop once in my life. Just, I think if everybody saw the bloop, everybody would be like, wow, anything's possible. If the bloop just showed up once and you showed it next to like an aircraft carrier. But yeah, no. Because like for me, I always get because I always get contentious too. Because like you, man, I got a good heart for all sorts of that. I don't want to be like specious level.
Yeah, specious.
Right? Because also I look at it and it's just like Lovecraft needed a way of explaining a whole lot of scary shit, and some of it was coming from his own ignorance, but some of it was also very brilliant with symbolism, right? And there's got to be a benevolent octopus god, a god whose patron animal is the octopus, because all of us have now watched all sorts of videos. There's no evil animals anywhere. There's octopuses are freaking wild,
cool,
interesting creatures, ridiculously intelligent.
They'll recognize your intelligence and like you and give you a little handshake.
Right. All sorts of little things like that, right? And so, no doubt, there's no doubt in my mind that we got to just make sure that we understand, for instance, I just went on about Thoth. That doesn't mean ibis symbolism can only be used to detect the evil of the thinkings of this incursion from Atlantis Anunnaki, right? And the same thing with Set. I'm not gonna sit there and say no, that donkey doesn't deserve love because the god Set sucks. No, it's a donkey. It's just kind of annoying, but it's just a donkey.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, what is that animal? And I'm speculating that too. It could be a donkey. It could be some type of shrew. I've also tuned into the possibility it could be a hellhound, which is like this rare type of dog that is found in hell realms majority wise, and is kind of gone extinct here. But that's a possibility.
Gotcha.
Now,
I want to ask a couple of questions from my chat. My Shuri Ananani, who is going to binge watch your channel, she tells me over here. She's wondering if you found any whistles.
Yes, there are these. I'll see if I can find them in the chat. There are like these little craniums that have like a thing you can blow through and like instruments. So woodwind, whistles, things that make that jaguar sound. Like if you go to the like Chichen Itza and other pyramids, they'll be selling it like sorry, I can't make that sound at all. Yeah. It makes a jaguar noise. So that appears to be old too, that concept. As well as these shells, which is depicted right here. These conchs, which is being given as a form of summoning or communication, as well as a symbol between the west and the east seas in interaction. This is a mer person on this UFO. And so I was going into that. This UFO has an octopus guy. Now, I had ability to read into this quite heavily, so I've been able to read into the species. Because I've been kind of fearful, like, oh, is this species all negative and all that? Because Cthulhu mythos. From what I've found, most negative species, the Cthulhu mythos, has, if you go to the concept of the antiverse, it's kind of like the Stephen King book, The Mist. Like a portal opens up and there's like a big rift and all these giant monsters come out and like horrible, deadly, like fearful things. That's like the antiverse. It's a predatory system. It's like a lymphatic system for universes built in like threes, like a heavenly place that's a VIP club for the creator gods, a neutral realm like Midgard and Tree of Yggdrasil, and then quarantine realms or hellish realms or prison realms or whatever that are made for the beings that invade places, and they put them there.
Yeah, like Tartarus in Greek mythology. There's the underworld that they string up Loki after he got Balder assassinated for his punishment. And I was talking about this as well, like in certain aspects of Helheim and certain aspects of Niflheim in the Norse mythos. They have their monsters that their spirits that are not so nice, because the Mist Home is a place of the abstract of the imagination, right? So it's not necessarily the stuff that scares you when you're unconscious, but it's the stuff that scares you in the overwhelming possibilities within the imagination that fries your brain. This is the Lovecraftian madness, right? The idea is that when you actually see the multi-dimensional antiverse being beheld in front of you, physical manifest, to behold it is crunching so many things that don't make sense into your mind at the same time that all cognitive dissonance cracks it. And that's Lovecraftian madness, right? That's why a lot of people don't like the very super shifty, uncanny valley effect that AI art is giving off, as much as we want to love the guys that have been so creative with their large language models to tell it to get them the exact shot they were looking for, right?
Yeah, I like how you put that. And for everyone out there, when researching deep with Cthulhu mythos, now there's a lot of cults that actually do it in Satanism and the temple set and Kino and like other things that have gone into trying to summon the old gods. And they're not the only old gods. Like the oldest gods are granted authorities by like prime creators of the galaxy that like fractaled down, and they're more in unity with what people would call the prime god, and that fractals up to the source of all. Though there are dark and evil are different to me, as in dark is needed in the world to cause lessons and be a challenge on the chessboard. Evil is unnecessary. It's a monkey wrench in the cogs. Eventually, it's a goal of it's like God making a heavy weight. Like, can God, the old philosophy, can God make an unmovable object that he can't even move? That the answer is yes, but he can train himself to eventually move it. And that's the goal, is to train goodness and other aspects of unity consciousness to overcome the evil, which is a threat to challenge things to peak growth. Now, not always optimal, because evil and dark are different in that dark is hired by realms to teach people lessons in, like, if they don't learn from anything else, the last teacher is suffering. And so the ideas and thought brought into their mind to like understand things so that they don't make the same mistake again. Evil likes to just cause suffering without them learning any lesson. So there's a difference, and the harm and all that. So here's an example of like a tentacle kind of bearded being that has 4 wings, and this being talked to me strongly. It's very nice. So their original origin races, and more close to the origin of the races, are more positive. They get corrupted and have attachment added onto them. Evil doesn't earn abilities, they steal them. And so they're from evil coming from the source of evil, which I do a show on. It's quite a dramatic story, and that fractals in stealing and corrupting abilities from all the light forces. And then it going into, like, I see percentages of this race. This is a higher dimensional one that's around 6th dimensional, and they're the 3D ones, in what I've been able to see, have gone up and down the percentage of light, dark, and neutral. 50% are neutral and are more self-oriented in their species. They don't like go around helping races all the time, because they got their own things they got to do. There are like going up and down between 30 and 20 that are like specifically high enough advanced to help other races and are very good oriented. Then there used to be 1% of this race that was negative, and then the Draco came and enslaved a bunch of the race and are manipulating them. And here's the concept of this. So I got to like interview this octopus race in here, and here's the rest of what's around it, and I can show you the bottom. But when I tracked back this race, it was dead. It got eaten by a Draco, and a bunch of its race, I can't find them. They mostly died from being eaten by Draco, and some of their genetics taken and enslaved. So there's like Jeds, pine cones being offered. Is it a Merkaba kind of like thing, an Ankh, and again the Buga-sphere design. It's advanced chip, and if you look in deep, it has like shining window of crystal quartz kind of thing on top, with some dark thing below it. And that dark, you're like, oh, is that obsidian? Or if you get a microscope, it actually goes deep into it. It looks like it has like some fractal designs.
I'm also noticing that on the square chips, they all seem to have the same inner pattern where it kind of goes off into the corner, where the squares go square themselves off in one corner. And that looks amazing at the top there. Wow, very cool.
All right, so here's the depiction of what I think is a Draco, that it could be some other reptilian type being. And again, the double eye of Ra of Horus. Cobras are not found in Mexico, so that's a little crazy.
Yeah.
There are avian types that some have wings, some don't have wings, and there's all different types with them.
Okay.
So a lot going on. And it glows.
They chose 2 cobras and they're facing each other, right? Well, which that's an important motif as well. I mean, that motif is the motif of the 2 serpents facing each other. We'll know that in Conan. It's the symbol of Thulsa Doom.
There are Nagas, there are serpent beings being found. There's, again, like here's an ibis-like being with an Ankh, Anubis-like dog person,
Right.
some mer people, all kinds of things. On the end here,
actually, to be honest with you, just to be a little bit more depictive, like it may not even necessarily be an ibis, you know, because also Khonshu, who is Moon Knight's patron god in the comics, you know, because that doesn't quite look like an ibis head to me, because the ibis head always is this beak that kind of curves down a little bit like that. Right?
I see what you're saying.
You know, that beak kind of gives more of a predatory conception with the, you know, the fact that it kind of goes to a sharpened point, and he's got this tuft of hair, it looks like, coming out of his crown. Right? So it could be Khonshu.
It could be.
Right.
I'll try to find some depictions of other things that we found that are a lot more like Thoth like beings. So I'll go into that.
Yeah.
And here's like some Hawk and Anubis and other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that there's probably more than one type of avian for sure. I'd agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
So it is good to differentiate. Here's the symbol as an example of, it's found in the Thunderbolt project of the symbol of Saturn in the sky with an alignment with Saturn, Venus, and Mars. The crown of Venus, the sword of Mars being depicted as this plasma emission that goes back to that sign that you were talking about with the crouching man, and I found an artifact that has it.
Yes.
Here I'm trying to find it for you.
If it's the crown of Venus, is Venus at a phase? Because Venus is the one planet that has phases.
Their theory is that the solar system was different and some of the planets were closer, and at a different time during the rule of Saturn or whatever, which the golden age is when the precession of the equinox with our binary star system Sirius A being closer to us, the coming of the second sun. The sun, when it's closer, consciousness is more strong and the light forces are more in control. And when they separate and get farther away, the Iron Age consciousness lowers and dark takes over. And we're coming out of the Iron Age. And there appears to be a story where Saturn was more pronounced in the sky, more of like close to the North Polar Star, like it was always in the sky all the time and was called one of the greater sun. Now, whatever you want to go with that, because planets do have consciousness. I tend to think of Saturn. I'm friends with all the planets in our solar system, though. It does have a bad rap, and it is the Prince of Darkness. It is processing 90% of the darkness in our solar system. It has gone a little insane after its fall.
It's the center of a lot of black magic rituals. Yeah. So you're getting so much bent light coming from Saturn, right? You know, I'm a person with Saturn.
I like how you put that
in my natal chart, and it's part of the cacophony of things that put me in arrested development until I started doing astropsychology. And I'm still dealing with the brutal lessons of my Saturn retrogrades, right? So a lot of us have a lot of are very highly conditioned, whether because of aspects like I've had or because of the occultists' Saturn Moon Matrix conspiracy with their ritual magic. We're just so used to everything you hear about Saturn being like, oh, great, here's the planet of evil again, right? It needs our love and attention probably the most, because it's been so neglected in the false light.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I'd say it's more an allowance of negativity. If I were to read the timeline where it didn't exist in the solar system, there'd be more planets that have been destroyed. So it's lesser evil. than what could be here, and it's protecting from things. That being said, it was told and through history that when it was in power, like with Kronos, that it was a good time. The Golden Age was good. And after that, towards it having to give up power, it went insane. A lot of things happened, fucking awful. And so that being said, there was kind of catastrophes with that. So I think a lot of its authority and abilities and parts and soul shards have been stolen in that. And though it's also has some of the most heaven realms and also hell realms. Besides Earth, it can hold some of the biggest predators in those hell realms and contain them. So, and it's delineating the shadow out to people with the retrograde stuff, so they can face their shadow. Otherwise, it's holding on to most of it, trying to prevent it from being worse. So it's like giving us kid gloves as opposed to being smashed in the face and just wrecked.
There's a number of moons around Saturn, and I just got this info just recently with Black Earth Productions. Seth just dropped a big 11.5 hour segment on the history of Carpathia, part 3, and in this one, he goes through this list, and I think the list is from the official astronomical community that's named some of these moons of Saturn, and most of them seem to be named after the Thursatru, if you will. These are the Norse anti-gods, like names like Bergelmir and stuff, which are right. Excuse me.
That's an interesting.
Yeah. So like all of these evil Jotun of Norse mythology are the official names of these moons in Saturn. Perhaps in context, these moons are the Tartarus that we were just talking about, the different prison aspects of certain ones.
Ooh, yeah, I agree. So yeah, and again, like with the negative species, what brings a being to being negative is being corrupted, being targeted by evil, being possessed, being taken over against his sovereignty, and not understanding strong moral code to ground itself, or even have a reason. Some of them. So a lot of the races, like the Mantids, for instance, their origin race is nice. I've talked to them on multiple occasions. Very powerful telepathy. The queens can talk to like millions of beings all at once. Very, very powerful. There are negative ones that are enslaved by the Draco and Rhine Empire. And those are the things to look out for in the negative abduction. So a lot of the negative races have, there's different factions. Same thing with Zeta. There's like, they have classifications for their race in like the alien books, like Zeta type A, type B, type 3 in like different factions and what their agenda is and what they're fighting against each other with time travel. So the ones that are negative are usually not sovereign. They're enslaved. They're possessed. They're targeted by some dark system. And there are things rebelling against this. Here's a map of an example of how many fucking I went to a tour guide once that did a lot of things with LiDAR, and I asked him how many pyramids are in Meso-America, and he's like, they found with LiDAR probably over 10,000 pyramids, and it's like, fuck, how? What is our history? How did you do this? So we're lazier. There's a lot going on that's secret.
Like we don't understand like how much like room there is in the world, right? And so we think we're overpopulated, but no, we're not overpopulated. We always compact ourselves into dense cities because many of us are more comfortable as tightly packed social creatures instead of being more, in nature or something, right? But there's plenty of land for all sorts of living and plenty of land for all sorts of, growing and doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. This, guys, is one of the earliest artifacts. Yep. I remember.
This is like one of our first. I psychic tracked where this was, and it was right under it, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's amazing!"
Yeah. What have you learned about that since last time? Because I remember you brought this on the show the last time you were on too.
It's got a little Stargate that connects to a star system in Alnoth. It's got a million abilities. It's got a whole army of spirits that I was able to restore connected to it. They have helped me in abundance. They are very powerful. It comes with rings in it, 2 rings. One Issa has, and I have, and it allows you to connect to the size of the pyramid. And it's essentially got the size of a full size, the capability spiritually of a full size pyramid in it, and allows you to connect the law of vision quest. People have gone into the pyramid in astral, and there's like a big infinite space of helping people through that. Each one of these artifacts is crazy powerful in what it can activate. A lot of them, like religious interaction. Some, again, are old and created by ETs or hybrids, and I'd say this is one of the more older ones. And that's that. So, and then going back to this, so again, I'm seeing this squid like being intelligent, whatever, being a long skull offshoot of this other long skulled one, because they're seen fairly close with each other. And there's a lot of genetic manipulation going on. And if you want to say these are Anunnaki, that's fine, but that's an open term anyway, either beings from the sky or royal seed in translation, and mostly attributing to Anu's lineage with Sumerian. Though I'd say some of with Anton Park's translation, he goes into that they claim to be a super hybrid that genetically engineers their own race for multiple residual images and multiple territories that went around with like Sirius B offshoots that then combined and came to peace with the Orion Empire, like a Draco offshoot. And they were both genetic manipulators, so they combined their genetics together, and then it became its own faction, and then went around the galaxy collecting DNA. And then we're both trying to find this location and also attracted to it for a big destiny outcome that has to do with this super hybrid tech of the human experiment.
Yeah.
And they added, like in the beginning, Earth, with what I read, it has a bunch of the light forces, prime creator of the galaxy, angelics, gods, light beings of different types, making different offshoots. Around the Anunnaki time, they come in with like a bunch of genetics as well to add to that. That includes some light, a lot of neutral, and some dark genetics, including devils and things like that. So we're like a combination of angels and devils together, and 10,000 plus other races. So this big experiment that will be the merging melting pot of the multiverse to bring all these races of peace, to resolve their drama, to become an overpowered skin suit that can go anywhere and have limitless capability and expansion, and no limit on range of their abilities as well, but like have all this karma, blocks, limitation that we have to bust through and learn all these lessons and resolve all these things, karma, bring these beings to peace, incarnating into a world where we forget who we are, amnesia, that brings them to stop fighting each other, as well as the antidote for all evil, and compress the source of evil down here to Earth, as well as all the fractal aspects of it, and then resolve them.
If I'm looking at this depiction on the side of the skull correctly, so there's the spot just behind the eye socket where it starts, right? This is an avian who is sitting at the back of what looks like a boat, and he's steering on the oar, and then this other like a Nubian or Setian a figure he looks like he's at the head of the boat. Is that right? Is that a boat they're in? Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then
Absolutely.
there's the other gray alien with the goatee, also in the middle. He's also operating with an oar. Okay, all right. So that's what I'm.
Right.
That's
Yeah, and
okay.
yeah, the squid guy is kind of holding maybe in unity with the whatever anteater guy, pointing out to the eye guy, which I haven't seen that many depictions of an eye guy before these artifacts. There's theories on it and all that, but we found him in multiple. Some depict maybe it's the all-seeing eye and whatever, and that could be. I'm open to that, though it could be the high-level dimensional being that's like seeing in all places. I've seen so many eyes, honestly.
The only thing it looks like, to bring back the comic books, is the freaking supervillain, the Orb. It's just a giant eyeball. He's a big part of the original Sin plot because he steals Uatu's eyes. He's the guy who does it. And then if you know how original Sin goes down, it's kind of like your internet worst nightmare where all of your private messages are leaked to everybody that you ever spoke about. Like basically everybody's fucking memories go to everybody, and everybody now hates everybody because now everybody knows how everybody feels about everybody, all given at the wrong time and the wrong circumstances and context, catastrophe of civilization. That's I don't know much of the stories that the Orb is in other than an original Sin. I can't remember whose supervillain he belongs to.
That's good. I love that you're bringing up soft disclosure because a lot of the soft disclosure is, brought down from elites, and they apparently have more capability to go into these subjects and have found these artifacts and just keep them to themselves or whatever.
It looks like you have a top view of this skull, because I don't think I've seen the top view of it. Because I think I see planets up there. Is this a solar system depiction?
Let me just get that for you.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to download the video for you as well, so we can get all that. Here's the top view. I'll get another one, so different angles for you. But yeah, it's got the Boogosphere kind of chip, the scarab type being. It's got a lot of planets on it.
The scarab god is associated with Cancer, right? Cancer, like scarabs and crabs, represent the same symbolism in the astrotheology. So that's why the scarab works that way. Works as a psychopomp.
Before I go to that part, and I'll get you the video. So it looks like the eye guy is showing some type of authority and high levels of knowledge, and he's pointing out the reptilians. In the side, and there's two right next to each other. You can see one has a fork. Well, actually, they kind of both have forks, and they, I would say they might be like fighting each other or something. That's what people depict or guess.
Okay, you know what? This is kind of making. All right, so you would have. Okay, so you got your three guys on the boat. Your three guys on the boat are coming in. The squiddy type is kind of trying to stop them from coming in. The eye guy is, I think, trying to lead them in. Maybe the squid's receiving them and not blocking them. I'm not sure, because his hand is up on their side. That's the open hand. Like you extend your hand when somebody's coming off of a boat, and you bring them in that way. You have them great, and then he's pointing over here, right? So perhaps he kind of represents a high leader in this. Whenever situation scenario, is this a war in heaven depiction using like naval passage? So here comes the invaders, or we have a reptilian problem. We're inviting you into our lands to take care of our reptilian problem. Maybe.
Right.
right?
Yeah, and here's more into it so you
Okay.
can see it. That I like that theory. That's a good one.
Right, because
It's somehow bringing them to attention of it,
yeah, exactly.
which could be of the future, could be in the present, could be in the past, could be them being secret. But apparently, if he has to point it out, it's not an obvious thing to them.
Right.
Center of mass.
So here's that.
Yeah, so there's that. There's yes. Okay, so we got all these planets. Is that a what is that? Is that like a cup? Like just below the eye guy's hand and above the fork?
That could. It's like a bowl, so it could be a a lot of that would go into Egyptian hieroglyphs and what that means, and like containment or offering or I'm not a super great in Egyptian hieroglyphs, but feel free to put it in the chats. We know we got some powerhouses in the chat tonight.
Is not the center of the ball. Exactly. Right.
Oh, good. He's right in on it. All right.
Yeah, and here's that other reptilian. So they're, it's like, a group, and it would be depicting a group of reptilians.
And this main avian reptilian type, he has he's also got like a spear or something in the backhand.
Right.
This thing is on the side, but the density.
Yeah, right.
It looks like it has like some kind of crystal staff type of power thing to it.
Yeah,
and
this might be a wizard.
And this is like the obelisk that they were found near.
Okay.
That has the things under it that's denoting where we found this crystal skull. So there's theories on that, like maybe a war over the artifacts or the grid or something like that, having to do with obelisks. Although there's multiple obelisks to pick, so it's probably not just one.
As gas, it can be liquid. Because then it's compressed.
Liquid.
So
That's what I think.
he thinks the same.
Okay, so here on this side we got a lot more of the long skull types, which we got a cool surprise for you guys, as I got one with me.
This is your guy.
And they are all putting their staffs in the middle as if they're all uniting. There seems to be kind of a moon crescent symbol, which could represent the moon. Maybe it's being created or something having to do with that symbol. I don't know. There seems to be kind of a pyramid, a plasma emission or something, a bunch of planets all like involved, maybe depicting. When I read into it, it's like each one of these carvings has a signature frequency of a planet. And since there's multiple ones with rings, I don't, this might not just be the solar system. So, not just Saturn, but it could be Saturn is one of them. Though, so each of these carvings has the signature frequency of the planet, that something you can track back and connect to and gain greater knowledge of this. Because this is like beyond just a physical object, it's an astral object. You can go into a mystery school and learn and travel and know things and gain knowledge and awareness and abilities and learn from these beings. They will meet you. They will talk to you. This skull will talk to you strongly. Very powerful telepathy, high levels of omniscience in the skull, solar system size, and it knows truth about you don't know. It like changed my life quite a bit when I talked to it. It gave me an awareness of myself I didn't know about, and some things I didn't want to accept. And it was telling me, accept them. Fucking embrace it. You are needed to do something here. And then, so this will talk to you guys. I recommend reading out to it. It is well versed in truth awareness. And here's like maybe more of a Anubis like being as an example.
Good thinker.
And so you get what do you believe? What do you get from this? I'd love to hear it. And feel free to put in the comments, what do you guys read from this event here?
It's fascinating. I'm trying to fully vibe with what I'm looking at. Is this it's not DNA structure, because they're not doing the ladder thing like they did with the other DNA structure, but it's still helical. it's kind of making a Vesca Pisces, so they might be opening a portal.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they could be opening up a portal, a summoning ritual.
I like that.
Yeah.
There are depictions of portals, so I'll bring that up for you.
Like because I think I have a pretty good full understanding of what I'm looking at here. And so I would assume that these are depictions of the alignments that are needed for when you do this. And then it's a question of where is there another artifact with the information about what doing all this does?
Right. Yeah, I think that as we find out what's going on, we're gonna gain more knowledge of what's going on here.
Like, do you do a song and a dance, or do you just have to stand like that at the right time when the planets are there? And is that the sun and that's Jupiter? Like, what are we looking at? And so many, like, is there, how many planets are represented? Is it just the classical that you can see with your naked eye, or is there knowledge of the outer planets and planetoids?
Right. Yeah, and some of the artifacts do depict Jupiter too. So there is and some of the other planets. So here's also, like, again, the dig site where we found that one. Here's the box under the obelisk I was talking about.
Most of the planet roots so strong while the galaxy's expanding.
The roots found in the skull.
Real life, the cold, the climb, the way.
And again, 8 crystal skulls. Crazy with it. Let's see here. And yeah, here's the obelisk when we was first started peeking up out of it.
Looks like it's about 3 feet deep. First thoughts.
First thoughts?
So there's that. And here's, again, this is the skull you're looking at right here. Now, going into what you were just bringing up, there are portal depictions and stargates, which gets crazy. So get strapped in, baby. You're in for a lovely ride here. And there's multiple of these. We even got one here.
You have one here.
Yeah, well, at my house right here. It's not as advanced as this one, but yeah, I know the people that are involved in this one, and as well as I got different Stargate depiction looking things.
Right.
And this has like cubes on like pedestals, and all these different crystal skulls found and ship designs.
Yeah.
So looking at Stargate movies, recommend doing it because there are a bunch of people talking about how that's soft disclosure.
What's on the cornerstone there?
Which one? These?
Yeah, you see, yeah. Okay, like, is that that looks like a gray and a meditative thing? He may have wings. Another one of those.
Some of the videos he has got close-ups of it. Go to Alien Carvings, Mike.
Yeah,
Forrest,
the guy's the way, right? Just that top center bit. That's a massive. Like, who the hell safely got that there when buried? Like, right. All that, like, how would you have hid? Like, with whatever way did you carry that? You didn't. That's the answer.
Oh, it's a pain in the ass. I couldn't imagine wanting to do this.
Yeah. I'm seeing here. Yeah, no, I'm seeing what's good. Yeah, so that it is. It's another one of those figures of the Indian style sitting gray. So yeah.
Yeah. And it's got, so here's something interesting. So it's got a horned which goes, like, I think there are satyr, which are goat people depicted. Now, again, I'm not being racist. I do think there's probably some good ones, and Pan is kind of neutral, but he's not exactly moral in any regard, I would say. But there are definitely some negative ones, I'd say too. Though that's not the only skull that's found here. There's a bunch.
There are negative entities that also share goat symbolism, but the goat is originally a very benevolent figure. Like Capricorns, like Scorpios, can have a certain relationship with the occult, right? And the goat is going to be like that.
Yeah, there's various things that they're all over the place. Now, I do want to state that I would be cautious around that skull. That being said, I have not been able to see it myself.
Did anyone send you a nice, clean picture of it since it's been taken out? Someone must have at least sent you
some things, but I'll look for them for you. They've been kind of, I can't really. Yeah. I got so many of these that I can't really organize them that well.
It's like that. They get me excited a little bit because, with your astrological sun sign, you do get phenotype expression, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm an Aries, right? And when I lost weight and I wasn't so round in the face anymore, I noticed that I was kind of bumpy up here. And it's just that my skull kind of has a shape that you could have horn knobs come out right here, just like where any horned beast would have horn knobs come out. Yeah. So, so anybody that's got a horned beast astrological sign is going to have a phenotype expression, very subtle.
That's a good point.
Like that, Aries, Capricorn, Taurus. Aries, Capricorn, Taurus. That's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, the horns, like with Moses, whether you believe in that or not, depicts like divinity or divine connection. So it's not, horns aren't a bad thing. It's like being evil is an act. It's doing harm to others and stealing.
The demonization of horns in the general sense came from the church's scheme of demonizing earth gods. By and large, your earth gods, your benevolent earth gods, are often represented by various horned beasts. Now, the irony of being afraid of a horned or antlered beast is that across all of nature, herbivores, every beast that's got horns or antlers is a fucking herbivore. You are not in their food chain. Now, if you've got nasty teeth, like a Leo, that's a different story.
That's a good point. Yeah, I like that. And let's not be racist. Let's look for actions and negative energy and haunting and targeting and stuff with these artifacts. Yeah, exactly. We have found really haunted artifacts, so those are the things to look out for. Now, even with those, I have one, and I've been able to depossess it and capture the negative entity in it, and then I'm bringing them to goodness. So you can even change that so you're not powerless. The evil, you're an infinite being. You're connected to a source. You can call upon power to overcome any problem you face, even from big predators. Now, here's a good piece of evidence. So there's these are from Awelos, and here's the symbols that I'm talking about that aren't really found anywhere else. They have fingerprints, some really big, like giants, and the fingerprint carvings are so fine you could have to get really advanced machinery to do. But so this goes beyond what regular people in Mexico could even try to do. Honestly. What did you say? Sorry. I
was saying, that looks like pencil sketch detail on stone. That's like, I don't know how the hell you do that. And that's an effing fingerprint. Yeah.
And people have the theory that it like analyzes your finger when you touch it, and it's like a DNA kind of analyzing stone, which I'd agree with because some of these are really advanced spiritually.
Interesting. Now, so this one actually has a Meso-American character depicted on it. Do we know which one that is? Because I or which one it seems akin.
Which one are you talking about?
That right there, him, the guy putting his hands on the head of the gray. Right.
I don't know. Feel free to comment below if you know it. Some of the ones I've seen, I get what you're saying, though I'm not like super good at bringing that name from the top of my head, and their names aren't super easy to remember.
Yeah, because he's one of those gods that like he's got like a whole thing around his head or whatever, or if he's a god, maybe it's depicting a warrior or a shaman. I don't know, right? Mm-hmm. Just because like I said, I'm very it's very interesting to me to see when it's not Egyptian Sumerian depiction, but when it's native. Right. And it's all about gauging that relationship. Right. Because the strongest benefit this would have had for their people is if it was bringing them into a closer relationship with their traditions.
Yeah. And that's what we're finding too.
They are, right? Because this didn't happen. This wouldn't have happened like this unless they were searching for something. This wouldn't have mattered so much to their culture for there to be this much of it, even if it was maybe the elites.
Right.
They would have been searching for something that was lost in their memory.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you'll find that with multiple iterations because the place of power have multiple civilizations making artifacts on them, and you can tell when, as they go through history, what's going on. There's like jaguar gods. There's with UFO as an example.
That's like a stone book. How many of those do you have? That's insane.
I have one with me currently, but I know a bunch, and we met with people that are collecting them. So yeah, a lot have different languages. The one we have has a bunch of languages. I'll see if I can find a picture of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like combined with the we got a big, it's really heavy UFO that in the center of the UFO has an ET hugging a quartz jaguar. And so it's like, okay, interesting. ETs connected with jaguars, and so there's like some connection in the beginning of this. So here's the advanced technology ones, just so you have that for your stream.
Right. Yeah. I almost forgot about this stuff. Yeah. So like this thing's got moving parts, kids.
So these two little pieces on the sides are like obsidian or something, and if you shine light onto them, it absorbs and turns it into electricity, and then spins it the other way. Now, the technological ones we are very skeptical with. That being said, it still needs investigation, and some of them show advancement that seems beyond and shows a little bit different types than we do nowadays. So there's things we can learn from this tech, and it seems kind of like a satellite, honestly. Right. So I could receive.
Like I could see that this object is authentic, but I could also see that perhaps they're playing shenanigans. If you notice, they set it up like on a pallet. There's slits under.
Yeah.
Somebody could be operating it like a puppet underneath and just choreographing with where they point the flashlight. That is that's an easy way they could have faked it moving, but that could be just because they're trying to get attention at the discredit of the authentic find.
Yeah, I'm open to that too. It's just I'm kind of past that where that's not the thing I'm skeptical about because I've seen other videos of these ones and they're taken to scientific labs and they've analyzed them.
Because I saw
I'm
that video before, but I hadn't had a good close look at it until now.
So I'm more into the a layer that if it's fake, the battery and contraption or way it's charged would be in it and hidden. Though a lot of these devices have been X-rayed, and it seems like the battery is the crystal, and so it's like okay, I've heard of crystal. If you've heard of crystalline batteries before, you essentially take a copper tube and a magnesium rod in the center and pack boron and other types of powder into it with strong pressure, causes piezoelectric effect. And depending on the combination of powdered crystal you have, this can drastically change how much charge it emits. And this is advanced science that's suppressed in free energy technology. And the only bad thing about these batteries is over like 2 years, they start popping and breaking through the copper. So you got to make it a little bit better to last, but they can last for pretty much ever, and it's crazy. And some people have made their cars run on them. So that's the concept. So I don't even question the battery thing because this stone you could essentially make it so it gives off a charge.
Yeah.
That being said, the light bulb is a little weird. So I'm most skeptical about light bulbs.
I mean, if you want a Star Trek soft disclosure, you've got dilithium crystals. Theoretically, the Enterprise and all those kinds of ships had a crystal power source technology that always needed to get recharged by something. The ship, every time the ship every time they needed to stretch out the plot because the ship could just fly away, it had to have drained dilithium crystals. So that way it whatevered. Right. And we talked about that. That's that's where I theorized that you might have some polarized lodestones. I have one set of lodestones. I don't know whatever happened to my old friend Gordy Two Shoes, but these were a gift from my friend Gordy. Shout out Gordy. And so they're magnetic, or they're magnetic like this, right?
Ooh, nice.
So this little thing, it magnetizes. They don't have a magnetism to each other, and they're just one of these anomalous things that are found. I've heard one theory that these may have been used as a special kind of musket ball that nobody talked about. Maybe it was kind of secret tech. Which, I mean, it would make sense if you made a magnetic musket ball and you're trying to hit something made of metal, like say, like somebody experimenting with armored carriages or something. This would improve your accuracy because you wouldn't have to aim so hard. It's like auto aim.
Right.
So the lodestone, one way or the other, it's magnetic stone because it has metallic properties. And so you find the right stones with the right metallic properties for magnetism, and you can recreate that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this technology is out of the realm of possibility. I just think it should be approached with extreme skepticism. That being said, it's not. There are like more and more of these objects being found, and some advancement in like how this works being interacted with. That being said, probably can be faked. Some of them might be fake. Even the ones that some people think are definitely fake, I've looked at and it's like, well, your evidence for being fake isn't that strong. It's just that it looks like it's an LED and in X-rays.
Right.
And that being said, okay, what would they use? Do you expect them to use an entirely different light bulb, or what? Them using similar technology to us with light bulbs doesn't tell me it's fake. It's that being said, I'm open to it being fake. I'm open to it being real. I'm just looking for the more scientific data on it. it's like, what do you expect it to be if it's real? I don't know. Other than like looking for finding something that's modern, just put into it, that's for sure modern. Which even if it's wire, like copper wire, I mean, that doesn't tell me it's modern. It just tells me that they knew how to do that. And these are like little plates they have that are copper in it, or some other type of metal that goes into that. So yeah, there's, like they're depicting years on them. It's crazy. Now I put this in like, I am less likely to believe that. Being said, I'm not disproving it. It's just I have categories for things I more believe than others. Not that they aren't real or anything. I don't have enough data, and it's hard to believe. It's harder for me to believe. But I'm letting people know that this part of the arena is out there for people to explore, and I will believe it more when I dig the technological ones up myself, which I will let you know when I do. So until I have not dug those up. So
I mean, like because I want to be the guy that, like, because all this stuff looks pretty good, right? But pretty good is nothing to gamble. Right. Yeah, you definitely need to have your firsthand verifications, validations. Did you say something about, I think you said something about you had something you were going to actually show that was with you, right?
Yeah, I'll show you the good one. Now, this one, Nassim Herman and some others did some testing on. He is a little skeptical on it being real, though. Again, it looks like it has LEDs in it. It's been scanned. Some people of the scientists aren't, like, they get discouraged by it, but some aren't. So that again is like the concept I'm saying, where just because it looks like it's technology like we use doesn't make it discredited to me. But it's something to look out for. And again, those copper wires, you press a wire to them, it glows in LED. And this is the kind of like crystal composite in it that would cause the piezoelectric effect to light up. But that, and that doesn't come with a light bulb. So it just is like a Baghdad battery that produces electricity, which is not, that's been proven. So
Right.
Okay, so I'll show you the thing. Let me hook this up and get this big ass skull that's really heavy for you. And here's some more of like the divination tools people are finding with these interesting magnets. They found Ouija boards. They found pendulum type of things. It's interesting how old these things could be in our culture. And they're passed down like Atlantis and stuff. Yeah, so
that's sort of like scale that they use for divination. Did that
probably? I have seen scales too. I have no idea what I would call that thing. It came with those magnets found next to it, so it's probably some way to do it. I have no idea how I would utilize that myself. Oh god, what do we got here? I don't know. There's all these winged beings being found. Okay, so I'll show you the things now. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, that's some cool things. Let's just show that. So that one with the squid one is here for you.
Yeah.
And okay, there's this. So it's got UFOs. It's got the double eye. Right. It's got the Thoth-like being and the Anubis-like being. And, sorry, the dart's coming off. And, God, it's heavy. It's like 30 pounds.
Damn. Yeah.
It's got a mer person on it, and that goes into, like, these long skulls have hybridization into multiple terrains.
and it's got erosion on part of it's kind of like rubbed out. Yeah. Is it kind of like a layer chipped off, or does it look like you can kind of see?
I'll get it out so you can point to what you're talking about.
I don't even know if I'm talking about anything because it may look better to your naked eye than it does to me through the camera, which is at best 720p. But
gotcha. So here's a little UFO at the top, stone.
Okay.
Goes in this little thing.
All right.
And this seems to be a power staff for summoning UFOs. And it's got a dragon Quetzalcoatl at the top.
Yeah.
It's got an avian with a pineal gland, pine cone kind of thing.
Okay.
And then that's got a winged, somewhat medium long skull.
Mm-hmm.
And that has kind of like a butterfly symbol that's found in Meso-American, also at Tula, which is like the butterfly warrior giant statues at the top of the Tula pyramid are depicted here. And I got some artifacts that look like that too.
All right.
Okay. Sorry. It's a little heavy. And we got some type of reptilian, maybe crocodilian, maybe, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in its hands. Maybe it's an egg or something. I don't know.
It's like a mini totem pole that's almost like a staff.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
And then there's another long skull with a handbag.
Oh, the handbag. You and those things that are handbags. I know about your little handbag. Yeah. It's like when you have to fight the last form of Kefka in Final Fantasy VI. It's just this long tower of abominations.
Right.
Yeah, no, that thing's amazing though. That thing's effing amazing.
Oh yeah, I love this stuff.
Yeah.
Very powerful. There's there's great things. And I wanted to bring out the weapon kind of things for you because I know how you are. Like manly men. So this also has
a
ET at the top. So that's like, the heavens or whatever, the being at the top.
It's holding. What's it holding? The being at the top. It looks like it's holding a smaller version of itself. Is it holding a child or is it holding an item?
I think it's a staff of some type with a crook.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's a crooked staff. Okay. Yeah. All right.
So you know what that is. And underneath it in the middle. So humans is in the middle. So like this.
Look at that. A human.
The headdress.
With a big headdress. He might be a king or something. He's got a big headdress. There's definitely no gods that look that human, or we don't know.
Well, I mean, anything can earn divinity, and there's like speculation on what gods in our history mythos started out like gods or lower G gods coming to Earth, what are born from Earth, what are higher dimensionals, what are personifications of nature that actually do have a consciousness and may even incarnate in avatar bodies, or what are like starting off some incarnate into human form and deify themselves based on the actions they do and like big feats and abilities, which like go into Hercules and other beings that become well renowned and have big mythos about them, and then either they end up being worshipped or they do big feats, or their psionic capacity is so big that they actually do make the world better through extending themselves out in the world and managing something. And then there's a canine, which the axolotl, I forget how to pronounce it exactly. There's a type of dog that's like Anubis in Mexico that's like helps the dead fairy to the afterlife, which is exactly like Egypt.
Right. And I see, and then there's the blade right before that dog. But so there's a certain level of kind of telling the story in that respect.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a power object for protection, though I don't think you can. It's not really sharpened to do that, and it's a little fragile to want
It
to
looks more.
stab
Yeah,
somebody.
I mean, it looks more ceremonial. Maybe if it was sharpened back in the day, it might have been like a ritual dagger. Who knows? That you may be looking at something that took a heart out at one point.
Yeah, I've had like big, really awesome jade knives that are just so beautiful, and I've had them sharpened to where they could cut you. But like with athames, and then as you know, you don't want them to touch blood; they lose power.
Oh no,
they're used for opening doorways, portals, cutting cords, taking out big predators.
Yeah. But just saying, depending on whether that was used during the decline of their civilization or not, there probably would have been some poor decisions being made in the magical realms. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. And here I'll show you the rest of the first skull, and then we'll go into the cool debut where you're the first person. I'm going to show this new skull I got. And here's like an Anubis type thing, the weighing of the scales, which is interesting.
Yeah, with the scales for sure.
All right, and this is what you wanted to see, the top part. So there's a bunch of planets all around, essentially.
Yeah. It's a little frozen.
Yeah, sorry, there's a little fuzzy.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a high latency. All right.
Okay, there. Is a little bit of a sun shining kind of figure and a vulture.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Okay, so that's just kind of a sunshine, and I think I see the vulture there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right here. Okay, and yeah, the Booga design, and yeah, there's that. So there's that, and there's like this magic stuff next to it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into this one I haven't shown on stream. So congratulations, you're my bro. So
yeah,
you're gonna be the first guy that sees this one, and I am so honored to have it. Thank you, Brad. Grateful. Thank you. Love you. Oh my God.
Right. This is a Zerilath exclusive.
All right.
Bang.
So we got this.
Holy crap.
So this is the third Master Skull found. And I've been on all three of the digs that found all three Master Skulls. But so I haven't seen anyone else find these. So yeah, I don't know. I'm very honored to do it. It's so heavy. But yeah, so you get an idea. All these winged beings, handbags, long skulls. Ugh. It's got a little bit of erosion on the end.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's lost his tip.
Yeah. So the first one is a little bit more light. So here I'll go back to it real quick. So it's we call it like Blanca, whatever. So like white. And this one's the second one we found is blue. And this one is black, so it's negra. The first one's truth. The second one has an ankh on the top. The first one has this Booga sphere chip right here. The second one, which I will show on streams later, it has a ankh, so it's going into extending life. This one has a metal chip on the top.
Oh, that's the okay. Yeah.
And we don't know what type of metal. Some of our friends have analyzed some of the metal coming out of these places, and they're not just copper. They're like orichalcum. They're like combinations of copper, gold, and zinc, and all this other and rare things. So a very advanced looking chip, probably orichalcum, and so we're honored to have that, which can have even more advanced technology than the other ones. I'm gonna see what it.
That's quite something. It's sitting in a hexagram. That is so wild. Just to think of the effing like stone they found to make that. whoever made it.
It's very okay. Okay.
All right, there you go.
Then we got winged beings like the anteater thing. And here's again like an Anubis type dog being.
Right.
It seems different.
Yeah, no, very different. The shorter ears as such.
Yeah,
And
right.
like that face with like his maw is open, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So he's speaking sometimes.
Speaking, I suppose. I mean, like it's a very I like the fact that it's in that depiction is very interesting. It looks it's I don't know if I'm misjudging it by saying it might look a little on the hostile side. It's just very interesting.
And then there's these tails that come off of some of these beings, and they're mermaid tails. So that goes into the mermaid type.
Yeah. The Sumerian aspect, you're going to get a lot of that cult of Dagon stuff. So you're going to get a lot of the marine life worship coming out of all of that Phoenician type, all the Babylonian types.
Yeah.
That was a big deal to them.
Now, Seth, thank you for coming. I appreciate you. He's trying to say this is Set, though I don't read that in spirit, and he's got wings, third eye on his throat. But I've seen artifacts that do have Set on it.
I wanted to.
I'm cautious of those ones.
Calling it Set, because I already was talking about Set a bit, and I didn't want to seem like obsessed with it, like I'm some freaking prudish.
It's okay.
Born again.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be cautious with things.
Going on about
I'm open to that stuff. I'm just
the audacity of this guy, right?
You're right. So I'd say if you compare him to other things, just like this one, some people would want to say he looks like Anubis, but then there's Anubis type beings nearby and other artifacts, and they're just so heavy. It looks a little different.
It might be depicting. It might be depicting just other entities that
it's like 80 or 100 pounds.
Sorry, I can't hold it up to them.
Maybe they're just a bunch of freaking like dogmen. Maybe it's literally the dogmen, and they just were Egyptian dogmen, and so we're confusing them with the deity because we're used to seeing that in our pictograms and things.
Oh yeah. I'll show you some dog people. There's definitely those. My God, again, sorry I can't hold that up too long. It's like 100.
Oh, dude, please, no, thank you. That was amazing. Like there will be great pictures coming out on that in the future to be analyzed. It's amazing stuff. The dimensions of that chip, by the way, that looks very close to our 16:9 aspect ratios. The aspect ratio that we do all their, that we have all our stuff in, right? All of their technology that we use now. And that the 16:9 aspect ratio was important to some of their rectangular technologies that they were operating with. This is why the Kubrick made the obelisk in 2001 into what it was, because that's not the way that Arthur C. I think the story was based on had described it, because he described it much more like, I think, a Merkaba was what it would have looked like if they stuck with Clark, and that would have been too esoteric, and they didn't want to put that out there.
I like that you said that.
Yeah,
and we found some Merkabas and stuff and things that are like Metatron's cube. So that's like crazy to me, because like, what the fuck? So that's way older than. So like, how many of our images are we just recycling? And here's an example, like the Merkaba in a chip pattern.
Yeah. I mean, I like this one. I can't complain that much about it because I tattooed it on myself. You've
Right,
seen
right. Yeah, tetrahedron, star tetrahedron is really amplified symbol for fire, plasma, everything to do with the solar plexus. So it's a really good one to use. It's good for the light body programming. So there's so much you can use with it. And again, this is like with the Anubis stuff. So we got a bunch of dog people artifacts that are being found. Here's again more clear ones, like with him in the
right this one.
and I when I went to Egypt, I was doing vision quests with the group that I brought there, and I was going into it and amplifying my vision to see more. I was seeing multiple of them, so it's like a whole species, and they're giant, and they're looking down on me and like granting me all these like information and trying to talk to me. So yeah, there's cool stuff.
Because this one is so wildly interesting, because you've got three entities, your three characters here that are, Meso-American, Mexican, and then you've got the alien with the diamonds, symbolism kind of wrapped in it, and it's got this gray type kind of descending from the bottom, so it's coming through the portal. Because like I think that often enough our UFOs here, especially in America, because America's got a UFO thing more so than a lot of the world, is like these are the fairy portals, right? The fae folk situation, right? This is why the light elves, the dark elves may be coming through with their flying shields, right? And so here he's bringing in a chip to install right in his solar plexus area, right? He's having a solar plexus chip implant from these entities, and then you've got Anubis just chilling over here, and he's like the most out of place guy, in that respect. And it's just like, so this is showing like, oh yeah, and then you've got the winged disc on the bottom, but the winged disc has the two cobras coming out of the disc that's got that offset, like rectangular chip pattern, and that is what's carrying the whole vessel that he is having this procedure of installation done on him. So that's what I'm looking at here, right? Because this is obviously esoteric surgery, right?
Yeah, and the other side of this is that giant chip that I went into in my project here. I'll bring it up in a second. Here's the other thing, and on the side you'll notice an Anubis, but with wings. So multiple species of this dog people. And again, in Mexico, they have a naked black dog that starts with an X that looks like the jackals in Egypt. Yeah. So there's like a big connection between them. Let me just get that up. Yeah. But again, the DNA being touched. Let's see if I can bring it up here. It is, where is this? Oh yeah, here it is. So in the left bottom is the front of that device. That is this, essentially. All right. So
okay. So the front bottom thing is the back side of that. That's what you're telling me?
Yeah. This booga looking thing.
Yeah. It's booga looking, but it's 3D, right? It's like it's sticking out of the back. Yeah. That's wild. Okay.
Now going further into this, let's see if I can find. Oh yeah. You wanted to see. So there's these handbags also being found, and so some of them got samarium. Now, when I read into this bag contains the being that is depicted on it, a spirit-like long skull, which acts similar to how a jinn is an object. Issa likes to think these are the same species as jinn. I've done a lot of research on jinn. Jinn have more than one species, multiple elementals, multiple places they exist. Freets, blues, the golden, the black, the kings, the ones that come from Sirius and Sirius A and B.
Yeah,
A lot that are dominated. Yeah.
Order to what the jinn are, and I think that name may also be used interchangeably with different stuff, kind of like with the Jotun, right? Because I think that there's an etymological correspondence between Jotun and jinn because of that "n" kind of sound at the end of it, and both names kind of have that same kind of starting to it, you know, with the jinn and the Jotun. And the Jotun are always, you know, they've always got this interesting dynamic, which, you know, sometimes is friendly with the gods, and there's even intermarriage with female Jotun, but then there's a lot of adversarial, and then there's how they serve in how they operate as lessons from the divine for everyday life matters, you know, which is part of why we get the ideas about like not being judgmental on like Loki or any of these other quote evil kind of spirits, right?
Right.
But that's true because we're talking about humans to humans, right? But then there's that other levels of the mythos where it's telling us important things that are involved with what is both of our work against the dark side, right? So that becomes a big part of why I care about the analysis of what we see here, because, you know, I want to honor what's right. You know, I want to know that there may be some good amongst them, and not everything I'm looking at is the bad stuff. And you're a stronger psychic than I am, so that's why if you've had your first hand spirits, you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. But like, you're a strong psychic, and everyone and the people in the chat, everyone has things they're great at. You know a lot of things I don't. So I think everyone has the puzzle pieces, and you know, we're learning about it, and I'm very open. So I think it's good to unite. And you know, it's a very serious topic while we're watching something funny as an AI video of me holding booster. But you know, I'm open to like, yeah, I think we should look out and discern and figure out if there are negative forces. Though I find it, unless some of the artifacts are depicting certain beings in scary ways, and those I think are the ones that are more negative, as they're known and venerated for acts of destruction or something negative. Now, I don't think that many people would make artifacts to things they don't see or venerate highly. And a lot of the things that are depicted are usually in positive format. So they don't seem to have done a action of some type that would make me think that they at least have some good. Now, if they're trying to deceive humanity, that could be a thing, and that's the thing to look out for. But they are at least showing themselves to certain levels of humanity back in time, to where they are venerated as gods. They're seen as, hey, we want to work with you, and there are good things. Same thing as with leaders. What makes a good leader? If to those that follow them, good things happen. That otherwise they won't follow them. They will stop following them. That is logic, and that goes along with, if these beings want humanity to do things, to believe in them, they will show them magical things. They will show them advanced technology. They will do things for them. They will share with them. So that, in a regard, is doing some good. Now, if there are dark things behind that, including enslaving them or putting themselves on pedestals and gods to be worshipped, as opposed to beings that are just end up being worshipped, whether they like it or not, there's a difference. We can't really tell that with these artifacts, though, and that's the thing to be discerning. And there's, again, multiple species, multiple members of the species, so then there's a lot to figure out. So always be discerning, use loving detachment, be cautious, but also know there's an advanced history going on, and some of the beings, not everything I don't believe is against us. And we're a hybrid of all these species. So they're kind of partially our parental figures, they're cousins, whatever you want to call them. And they have agendas with us.
Well,
they want us to do well in advancement and evolution, that it affects their evolution, because they have certain blocks, they have certain curses, limitations.
Yeah.
And there are something that if they put their DNA in us and we go through this advanced evolution and spark this remedy of it, it resolves it for them. So then there's like a give and take. So some are being more selfish than others, some are being equal, and some are very heart-based and loving. But then humanity, high level of emotional body, so we kind of go heavy into emotions more than them.
Yeah. There's a complicated mix of things, because there's certain, like, there's a lot of entities out there that are a little bit closer to us in the sense that they're complicated like human beings, right? They have cultures and histories and actual like relationships, personal senses of identity. And although they might be a higher consciousness, they're still kind of operating like us from an subjective point of view, perhaps, but they expanded because they might have more as just a collective race, a fifth dimensional, sixth dimensional tap in. And then there's the evils that exist on those levels, because there's an infiltration of 9 layers of nonsense to go through rails of reality. And the fifth dimension isn't a purity place. There's purity in the fifth dimension, but it's also a major landing point for those coming through the wound gate.
There are some negatives, or neutral anyway, in the fifth. And it like there's a filter going up, so there's less and less, right? But there will still be beings that advanced, especially the Fallen Lancers or big catastrophes where they're able to steal and try to reach up into that. I agree. And like with the Anunnaki thing, I mean, I can come to neutral and peace with them, but they got a lot of shit they got to resolve, like with Anu and Lil and all, and even Enki, which I've heard multiple things. I'm open to anything I hear. I know they use propaganda in their mythos. I'm just open to a lot of things.
The Enki, like the Enki Enlil thing it's just kind of like, it's like, do you want to be under communism or national socialism? Would you like the
lessers of evil kind of thing again?
Do you want to have the oppressive patriarchy or the oppressive matriarchy? That's communism, is the oppressive matriarchy.
Yeah.
Right?
Incrementally lesser evils or attempting to get there under our hierarchy. Yeah, I do agree. That seems to be our history.
So I think it's Enlil is the benevolent one. Like, he's going for the communist approach, right? He's just like if you know the information in the channeled Lost Book of King Og, it's kind of like that battle, right? The giants, the Dark Ones came over and influenced the giants when the cataclysm came, and there were the openly cannibalistic on human being giants, and then there were the giants that kept human beings as pets.
Okay.
And they still ate them, but they were low key and rationing about it. But they covertly were eating them, right? So do you want to be overtly devoured by these monsters or covertly devoured? This is the false paradigm that the Anu Elohim have been running on us. Thoth's words have sowed the confusion for this. This is part of the issue with Thoth, because It's the steel of the office of Tahuti, which belongs to Asar.
Okay. Yeah, I'm open to that. I've heard like a lot of stories of different ends, like either Enlil's good or Enki's bad, or good or whatever. I'm open to it all. Honestly, with analyzing them, they're lesser evils to bigger, worse predators that would try to invade the earth and kill everyone and wipe it out, and then then repopulate things themselves. That being said, they're not that much different. It's definitely like like you were saying, communism or communism light or something. So I like the war over which, because I know people that are like, oh no, I'm team Enlil, or I'm team Enki. You know, I'm not really getting in there. I will make peace with either of them. I have had interactions with them spiritually. I try to come to peace with them. They're very overwhelmed with their shadow, and I can kind of expect that when you force make a whole new species and then kind of get them to mine gold for you, and then go against different galactic laws, and then a bunch of other predators try to come in and see that as a grand experiment, and they want to own it, and then you have the evil forces coming in to try to dominate the whole situation, and then they become a shield for that at least lessens it a little bit, but also then it ends up going through them and then dominating the rest of humanity.
Well,
and I can't really tell which is there. Is this psionics that's coming off of the individuals? Is it their will, or is it the dominating predator that's dominating them?
Yeah,
I can't tell until I have a conversation with them about it. And even if they were doing it, they'd probably deny it. So it's not exactly easy to figure out the truth on that.
But between what humans are, what the authoritative laws of the higher force are, and what the complicated exopolitics are, we're doing okay as Earth humans going through the limitation thing. That's kind of the story, right? Because it's all about being a fool, right? In the movie Apocalypto, it was just like, maybe if you just don't participate with the city folk, you'll be all right, right? Just stay away from the cities. They're talking to the weird guy. That's what's going on, right? So yeah, it's all very, very complicated, and there are rules. It's slightly more fair than the Dune universe, because in the Dune universe, everything revolves around the Emperor and Shai Hulud as far as deities are concerned.
Yeah, that is good soft exposure. Like with the Anunnaki, I'd say like some are giants, some are more humanoid into like the genetic experiment. Some are like a frog type looking being. Some are the Draco like looking being. Some are the avian. So like also people like to mesh them together. Like, oh, the Greek deities and the Anunnaki are the same, even though if you kind of know enough about that history, it doesn't really mash that well. But I'm open to that. It's just I kind of read that multiple different family of royalty Anunnaki types getting multiple territory.
The Greco
multiple things.
Like the Sea People Federation, their influence and that Phoenician influence from these coastal regions, they informed in prehistory of a lot of what became the establishment understood versions of the Greek and so on and so forth, because this also, it affected a whole lot of places in different ways, because this was a time where animism was kind of getting lost and things were getting more like you're in your temple, you're in your religious cult of things, and the Greek gods kind of became this template for the archons, if you will, right? You know, where they're kind of like the way they were in their pagan times, in before they were writing it all down. But then when things started getting really official, they really wanted to be we're going to be this civilization. Yes, I just quoted with my horns. Anyway, and something came in and made these characters and put more of these human tyrannical traits on them to reflect the corruption that was intended by the Brotherhood of the Snake coming in and doing what they were doing on this side. Everything is Brotherhood of the Snake. In that respect, they're the gatekeepers. When, you know, like we have AI now, right? AI's been around for a very, very, very long time. And it's been around in what the Brotherhood of the Snake has been able to develop in the current global shadow tech for a long time also. They're now letting that tech build itself in the real world because they have to keep up with the next level of the game, right? And so now they have their lower level sorcerers playing with new AI while they're moving on and waiting for them to perfect what they already figured out about AI. And in the process, trying to stop them from doing it so that way they have plenty of time to stay ahead of the mere mortals who will be paying attention to what their lower sorcerers are doing.
I like that. Yeah, because all these other races are trying to dominate us in Inner Earth, and then them dominating a Inner Earth base human Illuminati group that then dominates the higher ones. Like some of them have already advanced AI, so then they're just working on things that interact with our system that we can see, and then bring a grid of surveillance and domination, and then controlling history and programming it into us, and then going it deeper to mind control and getting it deep into us, which recommend not doing. And that's, if enough people decide no, not doing, like only keeping AI, if anything, over skin, not under skin, then they can avoid a whole negative timeline. And then they can take these things off if they get hijacked and fucked with and mind controlling. And then I'm hoping people really question the smart grids and smart meters and 5G and weird stuff, because that is very harmful and that kills people, and they can be more green biotech and stuff. So here's me going into an office, by the way, of this guy that sees thousands of artifacts, a lot of UFOs. And he has videos of like hundreds of UFOs and even been contacted, and they've met him. Here's like that one that was Black Pyramid seen over Pentagon and Russia, which has Stargate tech, interestingly. And I went around touching each one of these because I have psychometry, and I was just tuning into where what they're venerating. Most of these are venerating. Like the UFO I have right here has a a micro AI crystalline in it that connects to a bigger AI in a ship. So if you get the ship ones if you get a chance, because you might get essentially a big artifact car key to a bigger ship, which I don't know about you, but I think a lot of people want to get their own ship if they can. Look, all these Vimana that are parked and their pilot died or never came back or something in like mountains.
Look, and stuff. I just need my drill that will puncture a hole in the universe.
Ooh, I like that.
All my Gurren Lagann fans.
Oh, I see where you're. Oh, yeah.
It's all about Gurren Lagann. It's the ultimate ascension anime.
And I like the first part of that the best on before they killed off the main character.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and then there's these weird, UFOs. This guy looks like Shrek, but he kind of, I don't know, like it. Tell me if this looks familiar, this little guy, because I don't know where the hell I've seen that.
Right. I was actually trying to look for that myself because I remember I was watching for research the video you mentioned it. And yeah, this little guy that if let me see.
Sure.
Yeah. Pause it right there. Yeah.
I feel like I've seen a clay animation or something with
right.
it.
A claymation like from the 70s or 80s, maybe. Right. You mentioned Gumby. Wondering did I like Gumby?
I couldn't find it in Gumby.
Gumby had
but maybe I didn't see enough episodes.
Gumby had a pretty soft disclosure-y alien episode that's been going around the internet for a while now.
It's true. I do remember him getting abducted by aliens.
Yeah.
So here's some ant people.
Asked the aliens why they were being so mean or something because they abducted him, and then they kind of explained their whole. And I think they made the whole genetic like deficiency ish. Like it went into like the fucking nation. I was just like, damn, Gumby. Somebody's been watching some Von Daniken.
Right. So here's ant people. Oh, sorry. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
And there's reptoids. The ones I scanned into are a little bit more neutral, so they don't seem to be the same thing as Draco, but yeah, still be cautious with them.
I love the reptilian figurine. I love the way like it. I'm sorry, not the reptilian one. He's also cool. I mean the ant one.
The ant.
Yeah, the ant one. It's just like he kind of looks like he's a stick bug in his body. That's kind of like the number one reason, and his antenna could also be like horns or antlers, which makes me think of him, more like like a pagan god type. He's very cool. I like the way it's just designed. I just like the design overall.
Me too. He seems really cool.
He does seem cool.
And this seems like a star map.
Right. I was gonna say, what constellation could that be?
The guy that owns it says it might be older depiction of Orion, but we don't know.
Gotcha. Is that 3 nodes in the center where it's smudged?
It might be a triangle kind of one of kind of like a triangle. So that could be like the 3-dot Orion belt kind of thing. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Here's another ant person.
Yeah.
And I love how he has like crosses everywhere. Just to balance the energy, whatever.
Yeah, right.
It is nuts in there. It's fucking off the charts amount of frequency. This ship is powerful. It's got time travel tech in it. The one that's venerated. Here's some more reptoids. And there's all these like hundreds of little guys. He doesn't know what they do. When I hold them, I was reading that they make them every time they see a shooting star or a UFO as like a prayer or something to the gods or something like that. They wish upon a star kind of
like the UFO will make like a real UFO that those UFOs are representing will make one of those that it's representing.
I don't. These I think are made by humans witnessing them.
That's what I mean. Like.
Right.
So when you said it makes those they represent what they've witnessed being.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that makes perfect sense because we've all seen UFO footage where UFO breaks up into many different little lights and things like that, right? We could be looking at something akin to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where there's a mothership that can deploy, right?
I also love his numerous dream catchers. All these CDs in the table are all the UFO footage he's found. So he's got tons.
Yeah. And that is
he also showed us a bunch
catchers because there's the Stephen King based movie Dreamcatcher, which is about
That was a good movie.
An alien invasion like this. And an alien friend.
Right. Yeah. He also has, if you noticed, on his healing table, he has these giant magnets over here. And he essentially does magnet therapy. He covers you in tons of magnets and does big healings. And he's a doctor.
I thought there was just a gym in the room.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what is those? And then it's just tons of magnets everywhere. Okay. So there's that. So yeah, it's 3 hours, so I guess we should, wrap things up. But anything else you wanted to say or whatever?
No, dude. This has been quite incredible. It's just like, yeah. My get, I think that some of this could have been lasered on, but like I said, like analog laser, like kind of like a magnifying glass kind of tech that they might have had, and just with a lot of patience and precision and knowing what time of day to work, you get this done over a patient amount of time.
Could be. I like that theory. Definitely open to it. Let's see how I get this done. Okay, there you go.
But yeah, no, I'm good. You get the lion skull. That thing's awesome.
I know you love, like, I'll look for if you want, like, something. I got like a bunch of things down here in Mexico that I never dreamed of manifesting. So it's like, if you're looking for a lion, tiger, jaguar thing, let me know. But yeah, this has been a good show. Thank you for everyone that's coming. Thank you, Sethicus, honored. Look forward. Hopefully we can do a show in the future. Let me know as you finish your research and stuff.
Yeah. Everybody in Temple will be excited to see a segment with you.
Contact me. I'll just you go ahead and plug how people can reach you, and then I'll do mine.
Yeah. I keep things very simple. I'm not a professional enough person to manage a website yet, so I got my YouTube, which has been streaming along with Sean in real time here, which is Zerilath Eternal. So you can like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff over on my end. And I do tarot and rune readings. And if you want to do professional contact with me, my email is zerilath@yahoo.com. And you can hit me up for a reading. You can see an example of a reading I just did yesterday with a client who wanted to go live and make some reading content for me. So you can check out what an hour reading looks like if you've not seen me on Great Horn Pagan's podcast. And I'm active on X as Zerilath369, and I got Zerilath Divinations on Facebook. I really ought to make a link tree. All these links just crept up on me. And Instagram, I am Zerilath, right? And I'm probably not as active on there as I used to be, but now I'm not popular enough to go live on Instagram. So, bah humbug.
Yeah, bah humbug to that. You do great shows, and I love to read readings when I got some from you. Subscribe to his channel, Zerilatheternal. It's down there. Adam, he's also on Facebook, so look out for him. And show us some love in the comments if you want to see more of these shows, and bring us together or whatever, because we're always finding more artifacts too, as well as some deep esoteric knowledge that we can come out and bring to you guys' awareness. And I'm Sean Bond, the founder of PsionicLeague, bringing the abilities out and causing the psionic renaissance. You can contact me at PsionicLeague.com and .com/services to book a session, clearing healing, depossession, unlocking your dormant abilities, abundance, turning on your third eye light, telepathy, psychic tracking, all going into the world game that you never get bored in. You can do all these missions and take on boss battles and make the world a better place, as well as your life, programming your body and astral traveling and becoming your greatest self, as well as whatever else you want to get into. I am also going to memory retrieval, and you can go on my PsionicLeague channel on YouTube and see all these videos and vision quests and superhuman abilities displayed in video that unlock and download things to people that witness them. And yeah, become your greatest self. And you can also contact PsionicLeague@gmail.com down here for Trip and Corey if you're interested in Mexico trips, because I live in Mexico and I give trips, place of power, pyramids, things with superpowers, telekinesis, upgrades, divinity, unlocking, all that kind of stuff. And if you're interested in the alien artifacts, let me know as well. Contact me, and because they're trying to get out to the world, be more disclosed, and they're willing to talk to people that are worthy and communicate with them, and they end up, around in people's lives and expanding disclosure. So they'll talk to you. Let me know about that. And yeah, see me at different conferences coming up, like Alien Event in Las Vegas coming up, Rion's conference, Rise of the Guardians, and some other things. So, and if you're interested in me going to conferences, hit me up, or speakers, sign us up. I give abilities and trade more than just money. I trade for abilities, services, things you guys are good at. Feel free to reach me if you want to trade. If you can get my message out there and you want to do shows or interviews, hit me up, and let's do it. Let's get it out there, and then I can also trade for those type of things and support for getting me past the algorithm of suppression here. And Zerilath knows all that. Same thing for him if you want to contact him. So destroy that comment below, show your love, subscribe, share this with friends, get this disclosure out there. This will blow people's minds. Give it to your skeptical friends, give it to your awakened friends, get it out there, and then we'll be our higher selves will be trading and supporting you for everything you do for us, and you're gonna get some big upgrades. Anything else and last words of wisdom you wanted to bring the audience, my friend?
Yeah, no, everything is killer, and just always learn to know thyself.
And go with that. It's deeper mystery than you know, and there's so much exciting things, and your happiness is unlocked by knowing the truth of things, internal, external. So unlock your DNA and expand to see more. More starts manifesting. As soon as you get a concept that comes into your reality, it starts unfolding and coming out more. See, if this is your first time seeing the artifacts, get ready for more coming your way. So yeah, there's a more unlocked history, more secrets, more uncovered, unveiling before y'all. Thanks for coming, guys. Share this out to the world. See you guys later. Have a wonderful night.
Good night.